Still posting social media shit anyway. Let's see. Gotta go to the
See that 40K hit my bank account today?
How's that? How do you like that?
All gone.
Oh, gone. Yeah, Linda and I were literally just talking about, like, Scotty's going to be here on Friday, and we're just, like, the money is already spoken for, and I'm like, I feel so bad. Like, I'm going to try and have the cheapest vacation of his life.
Dude, why am I so fucked? Like, the key is off.
Yeah, it must be off. Let me mess with it. You're super.
Orange.
Let's see.
You can't see the best team.
Oh, you know why? It's because I changed it for Gino.
Fucking Gino.
See, I switched. It was like one button. Gino, I hope you can hear me, buddy. This is for you. Yeah, it was literally one button fix. So perfect. That looks good.
Dude, my main monitor color is just so fucked.
I always look a little orange on purpose.
No, well,
on purpose.
my fancy 28-inch, everything is red.
Okay. Maybe you have that
So
nightlight
you
on.
look like you look orange right now.
Did you put on nightlight?
No,
Some people do that.
I do that on my phone
Yeah, me too.
all the time.
I have it on my work computer. My work computer, I've started the nightlight trend at work.
I gotta get the blue blocker glasses.
We have one guy that does
Me
that.
too, like a dumbass. Like I just leave the default Windows background that's all blue.
Yeah. Nah, I go all in. What is this? This is Trovo, so I want to go to stream options.
Oh, dude, I'm getting a fucking company truck too.
Why? What do you need a company truck for? Are you a truck driver? You out there on the road?
No, because my boss wants me to be there every day, and I'm like, I'm moved a half hour away, and I have a front wheel drive car from California. I can't drive that in the snow. So
What's
that's like
the?
another?
Oh, there's vibe tags. They're
Maybe
all.
like $600 a month because I'm gonna sell my car and not have to pay for auto insurance.
Oh, that'd be so sweet. I hate auto
Better than
insurance.
raise. Fuck. I mean, let's see, $600 a month plus taxes on top, right? Would be like what, 30%? That'd be like almost a $10,000 raise.
Well, that's what I was telling Linda, just as far as like our budget right now. I'm just like, we just need to stop doing stuff, but we just can't. It's Christmas. It's her parents were here. Now Scotty's gonna be here, and then well, and it's also, it's just great, like student loan, like all that's coming back. So I'm just trying to finish up other bills before that comes back.
How much do you owe?
Federal or private?
Both. Give me the breakdown.
That's actually not a bad way to kick things off. Let me hit record just so we're in the clear, because I think you and I have talked a little bit about the like education and that whole situation anyway, because like my student loan debt is crazy, and here we are, we're ending 2021. I think January 31st is like D-Day. Like that's when everything kicks back into gear. So like I'm ready for it. Like I'm bracing for impact. I'm trying to get my finances a little bit in order. I even used a loan calculator today, like how if I paid off this percentage, like with the federal loan, that's useless. There's no point in me trying to pay that off on a loan calculator. That's like a 25-year down the road. I might have that paid off. I'm going to be 55 or 60 when my student loan debt's paid off. So
Fuck.
yeah. So I love the education system. I think it's great. I also get annoyed when people like, cause I'm one of these Republicans who's all for getting rid of student loan debt. And like the conservative argument is always, like if we forgive the loan debt, we paid for all these liberals to get a liberal arts or whatever, or an Asian studies degree. But I didn't do that. I got a business degree. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And it just, for some reason, I've only paid interest. I've never paid, like when I look at it, I've never paid the debt down. I've been graduated for 10 years. I think I had 1 year after I graduated, like before I had to start making payments. So I've never ever, like when you look at how much I borrowed and how much I owe, I have the same amount. It's never gone down. I think my private loan, I think at one point was like 7,500, but now that's like 5,400. And
Nice.
in 24 easy payments of $277, that one could be paid off. And then I think that what they wanted me
You paid $6,600 to pay off $2,000.
exactly. Well, and with the federal loan, the federal loan's ridiculous. Like that's where I think the education system is so insane and so corrupt, is because like, come on, are we serious that we need that much money from these kids? Like, you need this much money from me for me to have gotten this degree. Number one, the DeVry is still open, okay? It never closed. It's still there. And the fact that it's a federal loan, I can't subsidize it. I can't get like, I
Can't go bankrupt either.
I can't lump it in with other loans. You know, like if you're in a debt forgiveness program, you can't then take that money and lump that in with it. So for the rest of my life, when you look at my credit score, it's going to have a negative $46,000 thing, like forever. I don't know if I'm ever going to get rid of that. You know, like that. There's just no way.
They'll dock your Social Security once you get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, and honestly, yeah, like, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is like that's I have to take care of retirement on my own, because the way my student loans were set up was
It's just going to that.
well, and also like I love I remember back in 2009. We all remember those glory days when you were leaving college. You were getting an $80,000 a year job. Like that was a promise to you by DeVry, promised to you by Cal State LA. Even if you were getting some nonsensical degree in foreign language studies, which actually isn't ridiculous. That's actually a pretty good one. If you could speak Chinese or Russian, you're probably very valuable right now. But
Once they take over, it's going to be real useful.
yeah, I was in some pretty ridiculous classes. So like imagine so I took a liberal arts course, which was for like teachers, and just thinking about that, like if you majored in that, what are you going to do with that? Because you can get a teaching credential without all of this money that people pour into university. So I just look at it now like, why? They should just forgive it at this point. It's been 10 years. Everyone seems to have gotten paid.
Just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Thank you so much, Zane. Randy Orton's beautiful body on our screen right now. Like, easy. Because this is hashtags and headlines, but people are waiting. I messaged Gino earlier. So for those who listen on the podcast, I'm recording 2. We're doing hashtags and headlines right now. We're going to do the anime hole after this, because I've been watching more anime than wrestling at this point.
Good for you.
I watched 3 Hour Raw last night, and 3 Hour Raw was fantastic. Wrestling's amazing again. And I like when I was thinking about what can I talk like wrestling wise with Chino, because I haven't watched Impact. Ever since Impact, they did this awful like mockumentary. It was awful, Zach. I can't even describe it. And I just have no interest in talking about that. No interest in anything wrestling related other than anime. So that's where we're at tonight. So we're going to do that later. But thank you so much, Zane, for hanging out, being here with us. I just put it in. Usually I got a message in the Discord. Like that's when people jump on, is when Discord says, add everyone, get in here. So, but I don't know. What are your thoughts, Zach? Because you don't have the $50,000 in student loan debt like myself.
Dude, I'm glad I don't. I didn't do it on purpose, not get into it. Luckily, when I started going to college, my dad was fucking out of work, and I basically paid nothing to go the first couple of years at Cal Poly. But
right,
and then I just did Mount Sac and paid for it because I was working. But fuck, we were talking right before we started recording. Refinanced my house, got $40,000 cash.
$40K.
What I ended up with was $3,000 in savings. Everything else is gone.
Everything
paying off credit card debt.
Everything else is gone. And that's what I mean. Like, it's just like, it's money is spoken for. Like, that's just how it is. And that's how, like, every time I get paid, it's spoken for. I'm even looking at bills right now where it's like, geez, I have Chime. So as soon as that money hits my Chime account, because normally I get paid on like Thursday.
You actually get it early?
Yeah, you get it. So what's annoying is 90% of the time you do get it early. The 100% of the time it's not on the day you need it. So if you're anticipating getting that paycheck on Wednesday, you should never do that. Like if you owe somebody $100 on a Wednesday, don't rely on Chime. Don't rely on Chime. Don't rely on Trovo payouts. Don't rely on Twitch. Like all of those things are illusions. Like even Trovo with its 1 to 2 day ACH. There's been times where I've cashed out on a Friday. Money's in there an hour later. I'm like, why do you do this all the time? Why do you have this weird law or rule with ACH with the automated clearinghouse that takes 1 to 2 days? And with Chime, apparently every business has it set up to where you get paid on Friday. That's just the norm. So it's up to ADP and all of these paychecks and all of these companies that do your payroll. They can release that money into your account as soon they release it on Wednesday or whatever, and it just takes a few days to get into your account. And with Chime, I love it because like most of the time it is Wednesday. It's typically they say as early as Wednesday. It's typically Wednesday, but that's what's frustrating is that if you're used to it every Wednesday, then Thursday hits and you still don't have your money, you start looking around like, who do I need to call? What do I need to do?
Dollar Loan Center.
I've even had the unfortunate scenario, which I have read reviews on this. I have a Chime account, right? So typically with a Wells Fargo account, you get paid when you get a direct deposit. It's thank you so much, Spliff Master. Like when a new subscriber, he just renewed it 3 months. Thank you, Spliff. I appreciate it. I will get that money in 4 to 9 days from Trovo because of their ACH system, which I love. It's totally fine. Like Trovo money is just like, hey, this kind of money over here. But ultimately, the way I look at Chime is the most frustrating thing is like Wells Fargo, 2 a.m., whatever. You don't know when it hits your account. You just wake up. If you're awake until 3 a.m. on a Friday, it will not hit your account. It's like Santa Claus. It waits for you to fall asleep. And then as soon as you fall asleep, as soon as you enter that REM cycle, boom, your money's in your account. Chime doesn't have that. So even if it's not in your account 3 a.m. on a Friday, you can wake up and not have your money and start flipping out. Mm-hmm. Start texting your employer, start calling HR, start calling Paychecks or ADP or whoever, Paycom, whatever. Like I'm calling everybody, where's my money? So I've definitely had that, Zach, where and then at like 9:45 in the morning, the money hits. It's like, that wasn't okay. I didn't think I was getting paid this week. I've been up since 4, checking on my paycheck. So yeah, it's a nightmarish world, but the app is so convenient. I love Chime.
I'm a Fargo guy, and they just got, let's see, they got 17
yeah,
grand
they just
out
got
of me.
$17,000 from you. They love you too.
They got me for 17. Capital One got me for like 6 grand. Wells Fargo got like another 8 from my wife. Man. But you know what? 0 credit card debt. I'm going to sell my car here. I was telling you, get a work truck. I'm going to be debt free except for my house.
You're going to be liquid. Yeah. Like I've never had that. And I don't think I ever will. I know that's like,
I haven't either.
That's a depressing thing for like people to realize as you're moving through.
The lesson is buy real estate. Oh, I'm refinanced. My house went up in value $150,000 in a year, and I have the same payment. And I took out $40,000.
I was reading some article today that was like, it was a poll, and it was in what would you invest in going into the market? If you had $100K, what would you invest it in? And the number one answer was art. And I was like, fuck that. This
like
is
NFTs?
rigged. No, like art, like fine art, like museum art. People assuming that, because paintings, no offense to all of my fellow artists out there, they only have as much value as people give it. You know what I mean? Like I remember Mr. Hook in 8th grade, he held up a $10 bill and he said like, this is made of cotton and ink. It is worthless. It only is worth $10 because we all agree that it's worth $10. And then he ripped it in half and we were all like, he's ripped $10. And then he like taped it in half or some shit. Like that would be
That was like a week worth of breadsticks at lunch.
It's like a felony to do that. But either way, it was hilarious because he's right. It is, we all have in our minds, we agree when something has more value than other things. So when people are buying a painting and they're, oh, this is an amazing painting. This is an original Monet or a Monet, whatever. Monet. Like
Money,
for
it's
them,
the same thing.
for them, they're like, oh, this is worth so much. But if you're in, let's say you're in the stock market crashes, who gives a shit about your painting? Suddenly we're wondering like the price of gold, the price, like we can make space shuttles out of gold. I can't do anything with the painting.
I mean, I would buy a Banksy. Other than that, I don't know anybody else that's from the last 500 years that I would buy.
Oh, it's like a painting? Yeah, I'm not buying anyone's painting. I will.
You want to buy a Banksy? Come on.
No, I would buy like a street artist. Hey, I'm walking around Huntington Beach and this guy's doing a sick ass. He's got like 13 different spray cans and he just made this wicked painting of the moon and like.
But what do you think Banksy does? What the fuck?
I don't even know who that is. I just thought he was like a popular artist. Is he like Travis Scott? Is he one of your people?
Banksy started as like a graffiti artist in London. Nobody
that sounds
to this
good.
day knows who he is.
Oh, that's why I wouldn't buy it because you could just hand me any painting and go, oh, this is a Banksy. I like.
Oh, bro, you didn't see. So he put a painting up in like one of the biggest auctions in the world, and he put
Poor
it in
kids
a
are just as
frame.
bright and just as talented as white kids.
How do you not know who Banksy is? He put it in a frame that, as while they
Poor
were
kids
selling
are
it, it
just
started
as bright and
shredding
just
the
as
painting.
talented as white
Thank you
kids.
so much, Zane. No, the frame messed up his painting.
Yeah, like on purpose, he built a shredder into it, and it started shredding halfway through.
How do you know it's a guy? Is it a man?
Oh, don't know.
It could be whatever. Banksy could be. It's an androgynous name there.
It's on video. Here, it's a minute long. You gotta watch it.
But even with the
It's
world,
very controversial
oh, I assume so. I mean,
and mysterious.
everything we do is controversial now. There was a controversy that I couldn't even find before we started. Like that. This whole like. I'm being honest. I spent probably 1 hour. Like that's not hyperbolic. I got home, I had dinner, and I legit was sitting like in here or in the bathroom on my phone trying to find what I wanted to show you, and I could not find it. It's just been blacklisted from me being able to find it. It must have known that I was talking about it. I was saying, why are all these commercials this way? And I was trying to find these commercials, can't find them. And I even said, okay, I'm going to watch some YouTube because I know the ad will pop up for sure. And then, of course, it did not show up. I was, what the hell? Why can't I find these ads anymore? But let's check out Banksy. So it was sold. It was already sold, right? People were
Like they were just like, oh, bidding on it. Oh, you win, and just go.
so, and it's in a really big frame. So yeah, it's for podcasters. It's almost like 6 or 7 inches thick. Like this is not. If he painted this on like a tombstone, maybe this frame would make sense. But it looks like it's just a sheet of paper or a canvas, and they put it in the biggest. It looks like the Declaration of Independence from National Treasure. Like it's really big.
8 inches of glass.
Yeah. Oh.
Art connoisseurs could only
Oh,
watch
this-
in horror as an
They
experiment.
watched in horror.
Oh my god.
They could only watch in horror.
Piece was shredded before their eyes.
This is why I hate
Dude,
art.
you know it like quadrupled in value as soon as that happened.
Well, and even with these artsy people, like I just think it's so ridiculous. And this is the same. I was even having this thought today about California because I might be heading back to Cali in September, and just thinking about like how Californians live and how, hey, let's raise the price of gas. If you're a homeless person and you're struggling and you're not a drug addict, an actual person who's down on their luck, okay, I can't buy a house. Maybe I can buy a car. Now that they're raising the price of gas, now that there's taxes on everything, it's harder and harder to scratch and claw out of poverty more than anything. But when you talk to Rich Eisen, he says, everyone thinks California's going to hell, but I open my window and it's beautiful sunset, beautiful beaches. Like, yeah, for
You
you,
live in Malibu.
yeah, for you get to go to the AT&T studios in downtown El Segundo by the airport, and you have your privileged life. You've never seen a homeless person. Meanwhile, yeah, imagine you're working class and you drive a truck for a living and gas is $5.50. Like, holy shit. Like, I was even telling Linda this child tax credit that we get, this $300. All it does is offset the extra money I spend on gas now. Like, that's all it really is. And we don't drive that much, but even if we fill up our cars twice a week, that's an extra $20. I mean, that's $80, almost $100 a month. So
Oh, when we were in Cali, dude, I paid $90 to fill up the SUV.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like this,
Fuck.
getting this extra 300 isn't as much because of the way. I mean, and that's only $100 extra in gas, but that's still an extra $100 a month that I'm now.
I forgot about. I deferred that. I didn't take any of those.
No, you don't owe anybody anything. That you didn't want them to give you your own money back.
No, because if they don't do it right, you're gonna end up owing that shit.
No sooner did the gavel come down to mark the sale of Banksy's Girl with Balloon for a record $1.4
Dude, it's a fucking stencil.
million.
Spray painted,
This
bro.
looks so stupid, though. I mean,
It's a fucking stencil.
It's just a little girl with a balloon, and it's sold for a lot of money. Like how, why?
Did the picture start to slip out of its frame into shreds below? The anonymous artist claims to be behind the stunt. On Instagram, he posted a photo of his prank with the caption, "Going, going, gone." In a later post, he explained how he did it.
A few years ago, I secretly built a shredder into a painting. I mean, it really is so silly. And it shows. Look, this video does show him building a shredder. So in case so he probably sold this to somebody else, and then that person put it up for auction.
It's like,
so,
you better not fucking ever sell this.
You're not allowed to resell my paintings. And he decided, okay, you sold it. Now I have the power to shred it.
So he knew that guy was going to sell it. Otherwise, why would you
exactly.
build this fucking frame and it accidentally goes off one day?
Right. And I do like the
Dude, so was he there?
Oh, he had to be, right?
He had to be to set this fucking thing off.
Yeah, he had to be there. He had to have known, or maybe
she.
Or she,
Or it,
or
them,
or
or
she.
they.
Yeah, this could be some sort of inside job, or this could have been like streamed on YouTube or something, streamed on Twitch, maybe a big Twitch stream going. But yeah, very, very ridiculous the way that is. But also ridiculous when I was trying to find Zach, and I just could not find it. Was so elusive. Was the amount of ads on YouTube now featuring gay couples, mainly men, is what I'm kind of.
All of them, isn't it?
I've seen a few with females, but for the most part, it's gay men. And I was curious because I'm trying to find them, and I can't. Because there's this commercial where this cross-dresser guy's like climbing up a mountain, and it's, for both sides of you. And it talks about, the new Google app. And when you try and search the words Google app commercial, I mean, the search engine just breaks because it's because the word Google is in there, so it thinks you're just going to use a Google search, like, hey, Google potatoes, like that's what it thinks. And then when you say Google app, now it's all these things as far as, hey, I want to put my application on the Play Store, I want to get a new app for this, I want to it's all the Play Store. Google app takes you to the Play Store. And then commercial, now it's all these people who are doing commercials on sell your ads with Google. Like, it's the perfect crime. Because if you're like me, who's someone who is like, why are these commercials still popping up? There's one where the guy seems totally straight. I think it's this mountain climbing one. Seems incredibly straight, so hetero. But then he goes to use his Google Pixel or whatever, and his nails are painted. I'm like, whatever. And then it shows him cross-dressing on the side of a mountain. And that's where I'm like, this commercial is fascinating.
Why on the side of the mountain?
Because he's like a mountain climber. He's like, it's to show you and all these other people that trans people are normal too, okay? And they like to do fun shit. And even look, let's go on. I'm on YouTube right now. And even on YouTube,
I've been looking. I can't find shit.
So even on YouTube, I think one of them that I did was gay commercial. And
Google owns YouTube. Man.
And one thing that kept popping up was, now these are all pretty gay commercials, but look, these pop up all the time, reacting to anti-gay commercials. Like that's the big, if you type in gay commercial, most of the ones that were popping up for me, now that I have all these SNL skits, it was all just gay YouTubers watching anti-gay ads. Like here's one, like we're doing a reaction to these ads, like constantly. That must be a huge trend. If you're gay, you like, I don't even know where you find these commercials of these anti-gay commercials, but maybe they're finding those in the same place where I can't find. Like I literally cannot find these gay commercials anymore.
I searched Google app commercial trans, and there's not even anything Google related.
No, it doesn't want
There's
you.
a video about transmissions.
the word Google is the perfect scapegoat for them because scapegoat. It's just it's the perfect, like, you can blame it on that because once you type in that word, it's going to take you just to Google. It doesn't recognize that I'm looking for a specific app called Google app. And even using the quotes around Google app, it had no idea what I meant. It was like, wait, there's so many apps on Google. What do you mean? What do you
You
mean?
want me to search all of Google? That's not possible.
Like, how am I going to do this? And even so, like, I want to even just, let's click on a video and let's just see if I get the ad, because I swear, like, constantly I'm getting these ads. Like, it's now that I'm going to
now you get no ads?
Now I'm ad free.
Pay for YouTube?
Yeah, and I'm paying for this shit. Like, look at this. Now it knows.
Is that fucking SNL's not monetizing their videos?
How does it know though? Because that was what was amazing to me was once I announced what I was gonna do, like I was talking to you, I was even talking to my wife. I was saying, oh, have you like this ad just came up and I cannot find it. Where are these gay Google app ads? Where are these gay Google Pixel ads? Where are all these gay?
Did you check Rumble?
Well, like, here, let's try Drew. He's got to monetize his shit. See, look, there's no now we can't find it anymore.
I've never clicked on this many YouTube. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. There's some sort of weird conspiracy where once Google wants you, I want to see your ads. Google, show me some of these ads. Why are you so hesitant to show me? I should not be able to just click around your website without ever paying. Even Maddie Spice.
Wait, what the fuck? All my videos are not having ads either.
It just knows. Maybe it's
what is happening.
Maybe it's waiting for a mid-roll. So let's leave the video up, and maybe there will be a mid-roll ad somewhere, because I've never clicked on that many videos and not gotten an ad. Like, and then Jay Taven says you'll be seeing the HIV pills next. Like
I hate that one.
That Descovy prep.
So uncomfortable.
Well, there's a couple that are weird like that. Let's move this over here so we don't get any copyrights.
Wait, I can't get a fucking ad.
Why? Is it because it knows we're talking about Google ads? Because look, there's nothing wrong with having one or two gay commercials for your new product. But when you're Google and I'm on your site and I see every commercial happens to be like gay, it was peculiar. Now Gino's saying he doesn't get ads with Brave. Maybe are you using Brave, Zach?
No, I'm using Chrome. Maybe that's the problem.
Maddie Spice sent a link. This is very promising. I swear, Zach, there's at least three. Like, that's,
in Florida, he could probably find it.
There is at least three. And like, I want it to be known that these ads are real, but because they're everywhere. There's one of these not Asian, but one of them is Asian, and they're trying to get food.
No.
What? Did you find it?
Oh, this is bad. Put it on.
Did you get it? Is this the one Maddie sent?
Yeah.
Okay, YouTube Originals, Pride. Look, and I have nothing against Pride. I have nothing against, like, hey, you have a YouTube channel, do what you want. I'm just saying, as somebody who like doesn't really watch a lot of Pride stuff, or like, I just don't get why Google's ad campaign is we're gonna do only gay commercials. And maybe this is the argument. It's been straight commercials for long enough. I've heard people say that, but it's also like, I don't know. I mean, I don't need to be that guy.
It's also like the majority of the population.
Yeah, isn't the population only 8% gay? Now we're having 3 gay commercials for all the new Google products. And it's also, are they assuming that every day I see a gay person? Like, I don't know. I do, but I don't see like a man dressed in a dress at work. Like, they're trying to normalize that, and that's something I just don't think will ever happen. Or maybe it will. Maybe I'm wrong.
I actually don't. I think about it. In my daily life, I don't know anybody that's gay.
Oh, I know people. Yeah.
I mean, I know people from like the past, but not like people I see daily.
There are no labels that define
And this
you.
is all dudes.
But I also hate when they say there's no labels that define you, because clearly everybody's they cling onto their label so hard. Like, they want to be LGBTQ plus. Like, that's my label. I need to make sure that I have my label and everybody knows about my label. Even watching YouTube, they have a new phone. The Google Pixel has a camera that's the first camera for people of color. And that's literally a commercial I watched with my
What the
friend.
fuck does that mean?
Exactly. I even
Color corrected for skin color?
I even told my friend Jordan, who was watching it with me, I said, "Oh, thank goodness, Jordan. I was so worried. My cameras have never been able to capture you. It's always been like a vampire. You're never there. Like, what is this? Why are there phones? How come in 20 when they invented a camera, or 1800s when they invented the camera, they were making them and they said, oh, these only capture white people. And then throughout the 200 years, they never thought to add a little bit of color to that. Like, that's not true. These cameras have always been able to color.
When we super kicked you right in the face?
The Weiss Pissaw. He says, Patriots fan. I hate this F word already. Keezy, do you like the Patriots?
No, I just like the hat.
Look at this.
Yes, I like the fucking Patriots.
The Patriots are 8-4 in the AFC. They're the number 1 seed.
7-game winning streak.
Did
Did you see the fucking weather last night?
I saw the weather and I saw the highlights of that game because I was fascinated that a team in the NFL can win by only throwing the ball 3 times. But
Yeah.
we saw it happen with Tim Tebow, and that's the other thing is Tebow had that one game where he went like 2 for 8.
Wait, who'd they play?
I don't remember who they played, but
Wait, who'd they play in the playoffs though that one time?
oh, they played the Steelers, and they got a huge victory over the Steelers. I thought Tebow could have taken it all the way, but then Belichick had to shut him down. He ruined everybody's fun. Really, really upset everybody. But again, back to this commercial. YouTube Pride 2021, you are everything. And everybody's saying, like, look, there are no labels that define you. Then why are we doing, like, this pride thing? Like there's no – is there cis pride? Do we have that?
I do. Do you?
No pronouns that can bind you.
See, that really annoyed. Like, this was just to
I'm
annoy
also
me.
tired of the Elliot Page body updates all the time.
Oh, are we still getting those?
I just saw one the other day.
Oh.
She's fucking jacked.
Getting yoked, huh?
I don't know if it's implants though.
No rainbow big enough to capture you. No heels high enough to trip you. Because you are not one thing or another.
What?
Not just an LGBT
It's all
or
dudes,
Q.
isn't it?
You.
No, there's some women in there. That's a guy, but there are
There's
some
dudes that look like women.
I'm seeing plenty of women, like this lady with the short hair, like Mrs. Mia Wallace. That's a lady, and that's the other thing is they try and make. It does seem like women are a little more in this community than men are. Men seem to still be more resistant. Obviously, not just white men, by the way. I know a lot of black people that are not okay with all this shit. So it's definitely a select group.
You are everything. And this Pride Party is for you. YouTube Pride
Pride Party.
2021. 7 hosts, 5 hours of Pride, 1 global party. Featuring Ollie Alexander with Moan Wiswan.
Wait, I don't know who any of these people are. Wait, who are these people, Zach? What was the first name? Ollie Alexander?
I have no idea.
Ollie Alexander, who that's a guy, but that's a gay guy, right? Is that what they're trying to tell me?
I think so.
Or was that a lady? That could have been a lady at some point.
Moan Wiswan.
That's a guy.
Elton John and David Fair.
Elton John, he's gay. I know him.
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato, who knows what's going on there?
Trixie Mattel, Daniel Howell, and an amazing lineup of YouTube creators, all
Drag
in
stars.
support of the LGBTQ plus community. All
Was-
in support
Was Samantha Lux there? I just wanted to see.
of Howell, and an amazing
No Samantha Lux. I'm not going. Skip me. If you don't
Who's
have
that? Are those all drag queens right there?
I don't know if I don't know if Monroe Bergdorf is a drag queen, but
Bergdorf?
I think
Bergdorf.
it's probably a trans person. It's probably a new lady. She was not always a lady, if that's what you're asking me. Why is Botrix down again? Either way, Zach, look, this doesn't bother me, but it's just weird that when I'm opening every YouTube video I was watching, it was just us. It was a parade of these gay commercials, and maybe that's what the intent of Black Lives Matter was. Like, I don't understand. Like, doesn't it seem like we went really far in the direction of gay pride and normalizing transgender, and like that was after everything that happened in 2020 with George Floyd and all those protests and riots. It seems like the gay movement has taken way further strides than any sort of respect in the black community, right? Like, how come we have a phone that captures black people, but I get 3 ads of gay dudes telling me where to find Chinese food in LA?
I mean, if you watch at least the last 3 Dave Chappelle stand-ups, that's all he talks about anymore. That's why he's so upset with the LGBTQ, because he's like, if that was black people, we'd made way more fucking progress by now.
And that's not wrong. And I'm starting to completely
That's
agree.
why you see a bunch of white gay dudes in commercials, because that's one of his jokes.
Yeah.
Just follow us. We'll take care of everything. Don't worry. We know how to get shit done.
And even with my, we were watching Project X the other night, and even Project X, it's a bunch of white dudes having a good party, and there's black people there at the party, sure. But I even brought up, you can't make this movie anymore. And people were saying, like, why can't you make this movie? And I said, because it's 3 white kids trying to have sex with a bunch of women. Like, you can't do that. They're making fun. They're saying the F word. They're doing
one of them's got to be at least gay.
That's what I said. So I said, if you had this movie, the 3 friends would be 1 black guy, 1 Asian guy, and then the white guy would be gay, and then the cameraman would be like a lady, like would be a woman. Like that would be the new group. You can no longer have 3 white dudes. And look, I'm of the mindset where I think that people need to realize testosterone's real, and it creates problems, but we just got to deal with it, because that's what I don't understand. Is like, when we talk about toxic masculinity, I don't even think that's the issue. I just think testosterone is misunderstood by everybody. Like men get horny. Men have these like this primal instincts that just take over and kick in. And there are times where, you're like unbelievably horny. You're like, why am I this horny? Nothing is even turning me on right now. Like when you're 13 and you have an erection in class, like, why do I have this erection? I don't know. And that's,
look at your mustache. It explains it all.
Look at this mustache.
All the women that go trans and actually go over and start taking testosterone say exactly what you're saying right now.
Well, and even one thing that kind of drove me nuts about
I had no idea.
Did you hear Whoopi Goldberg? Because Roe versus Wade is might get overturned. I was going to say probably. It might get overturned, and Whoopi Goldberg's on TV saying, "Do you have eggs? Do you menstruate? Do you know what it's like to be a woman?" And in my head, I'm like, this is very, very transphobic. Okay, because now you're telling Gabby Tuff, now you're telling Samantha Lux, you're telling Blair White, all of these trans women. You're telling them that they're not actually women because they don't have eggs. And that's where the lines get so wishy-washy and mix-mashed. And like you see, and it's definitely the left, like the Democratic Party, the blue team, that's a lot more open about pushing this stuff and normalizing this. Did you hear Colorado doesn't like the term sex offender anymore?
Oh no! What do they call it now?
Oh gosh, it's called like negative impacts or something like that. Like they don't like the term.
What?
Yeah, let me see. Sex offender Colorado terminology, because somebody did have something on their record, and it was like he was, I will not let something that happened 20 years ago define me.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's you were taking a piss in the fountain around the corner from the school and they hit you with the sex offender like Charlie Day and Horrible Bosses.
Sure, yeah, like
I'm fully on board with that.
Yeah, something like that. That's a ridiculous use of such a severe, like this term is for sex offenders and pedophiles. So Denver, CBS 4 News, shout out CBS 4 News. The way sex offenders are labeled is changing in Colorado. The board that sets state standards voted today, Geezy, to change the term sex offenders to reflect so-called person-first language, which, again, we live in this hypersensitive reality.
What?
Yes.
Person first?
Person-first language, where I'm a person. I don't want you to insult me or hurt my feelings. It's why you can't it's the same reason why even in a courtroom where the white lawyer is reading the text from Justice Smollett, he yells, "Can you stop saying the N-word? Like, can you have any respect for every African American in this room and not say that word?" It's like, dude, he's just saying a word that you wrote over and over again in a text. Like, you use the word like crazy. Where's your respect for African Americans? Where's your respect for people that actually suffered through slavery? You got to be on Empire. You got to fake a hate crime, and you're even going to
beat yourself up. And
you're going to trial. Like, what is happening? So this is person first language, okay? We're no longer calling people sex offenders. We're getting rid of the term like, homosexual. Like, we're getting rid of that stuff. We're normalizing everything, all right? There's no such thing as a same-sex marriage. It's called a marriage. Okay, Zach? So The Sex Offender Management Board, awesome.
So wait, what did they change it to?
Let me read the story. The Sex Offender Management Board, which is made up of everybody from public defenders to prosecutors, sets the standards and guidelines for treatment providers. So new terminology will only be used in that
Spliff Master
context.
Sexy says they will never take faggot away from me.
Hey, that Spliff Master living his best life. I don't say the word anymore. It was beaten out of me, okay? The electroshock therapy worked, Kevin. All of the wax play worked, Kevin. I always have to say his name when I don't say the F word.
They do like Clockwork Orange to you and hold your eyes open?
So it looks like I'm involved today after a hearing that would be improper or offensive in some manner for me to refer to that man who raped me as a sex offender. So I don't get. I'm involved today after hearing that it would be improper or offensive in some manner for me to refer to the man who raped me as a sex offender. So this lady was raped. A rape survivor, Kimberly Corbin, is among those who spoke out against changing the term sex offender to something less stigmatizing. Saying labels based on traits people can't control is one thing. And maybe, hey, that's the testosterone argument. I can't help it. I'm so horny. You don't know what it's like. Maybe that's what this guy is trying to say. But Kimberly says it's very, very damaging to those people who are labeled when it has to do with gender, race, sexuality, ability, but not those who make choices. You know, the biggest thing for me is these choices that sex offenders make. As a pedophile, even if you have urges, you put that shit away. You bury that shit deep down. You go see a counselor. You get the electroshock treatment. You know that it's wrong to sexually assault a child. You know that children aren't going to be able to consent to an act like that. Like, if you want to argue wiggle room as far as what's the difference between 17 and 18, you know, then there's a little more
Poor
wiggle
kids are
room.
just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But you're not going to be able to convince me. There's a hydrate from Zane. This is tea, but it counts, Zach. So what do you think, Zach? Just based on her testimony, what do you think? Do you think it's appropriate to change the term sex offender even for somebody who rapes somebody their own age?
No, I think we just need to stigmatize whatever they change it to. And then we'll be good.
Yeah, it's like you can't
like they don't think that's going to happen.
Well, and that's what's, you know, they're even someone's trying to change the word pedophile. So yes, we're going to I'll find that too. But Derek Logue says he shouldn't have to carry the label for life, referring to me by a label for something I did half my life ago is inappropriate and downright offensive. And now what I would argue to Derek Lowe is go fuck yourself. Because I don't care if it's inappropriate or downright offensive. You raped a person. Guess what's more offensive than me calling you a sex offender? And it's not even like I'm at the street corner going, sex offender, sex offender. Like I'm not doing that. I'm really not. But if you're what is that? Applying for a loan, if you're moving and relocating, it has to be well known by your community that you do have something in your past. Now you're called a sex offender because it was a sexual crime and you offended somebody. Let's stop pretending that person first language is just protect me. I'm Derek Logue. I raped a chick, but that was half my life ago. And look, you can be reformed and I understand that, but you still did that. And I think it's important that we still, AOC wants a list of everyone that voted for Trump. Like, why can't we have a list of everyone that's molested children or raped women or even raped men? Like, let's keep it all out in the open.
Hey, you can't ever get a student loan off you for the rest of your life and they can get out a sex offender?
He argued client would be a better term. Public defender Catherine Heffron agreed it takes into consideration the uniqueness of individuals who are receiving treatment. Client is one of 5 options the board considered.
Client?
So instead of calling somebody a sex offender, you call them a client, which
the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. Like, I don't like to use the R word, but that's retarded as fuck. Like, I don't understand I don't know the logic there. And that's where I get so lost because now here's what happens.
Because they're a client of a psychologist.
This is why we do like if you give an inch, you take a mile, and that's what worries me about the whole world. And that's why I think the Democratic Party, or at least liberalism, has become so successful. And that's why they're able to convince people that the Republican Party, the only things that people don't like about the Republican Party is they're convinced it's a human rights violation. Like, that's just what they've been told is, Republicans don't want gays to get married. Donald Trump was the first president to be okay with gay marriage from the start of his presidency, not like Barack, who did it on his second term. They're afraid
of. Don't give a fuck about gay people.
They're afraid of trans people. They're afraid of this. They're afraid of that. And it's not even that they're going to take.
I meant that in a good way.
They're going to take women's rights. They're going to take women's rights away, and like none of this is true.
They're going to lock them up in cages. Remember?
Yes, they're going to put y'all back in chains as well. So all of these lies are said about the Republican Party or the red team or the conservatives. Where when I talk about politics, I look at it more from a worldview. Like, hey, why did you vote for Donald Trump the first time? Well, I didn't like how Barack Obama handled ISIS. Like that was my big answer. Was I didn't like the way he handled it, and I didn't like the way Hillary. There was something she did that I didn't like. It might have been in the email somewhere. Might have something to do with sacrificing a chicken in the backyard. Can't remember. But either way, there's an email out there. People, WikiLeaks confirmed that. But either way, I remember thinking like I don't agree with the way Barack handled domestic terrorism, and even on his last day in office at his farewell address when he's talking about there has been no terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. I mean, that's just a blatant
Quigley
lie.
says my client Barack Lesnar.
My client Barack Lesnar out here touching Sami Zayn and Heath Slater's kids. But either way, like that's why I vote. So when I hear people say, you know,
Malachi Black says Vleeties show us a nipple.
I'm not showing nipples at all. TOS. But that's what always throws me off is like the other team is always human rights. Who cares about the logistics, supply chain, terrorism? Who cares about the border? Who cares about any of this stuff? It's all about human rights. And that sounds heroic, doesn't it? It sounds way more heroic than, well, I don't like terrorism and I like smaller taxes. Like that's why I voted for, that's a little selfish, but I think that there's a lot of selfish things being done by the other team anyway right now, like sex offenders wanting, I'm offended, change the label. So I don't know, like I got to find what they're trying to call pedophiles, Zach, but this really does seem like the world has gone crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean, client just doesn't make sense at all. I highly suggest you go listen to fucking Ted Nugent on Joe Rogan last week. Holy shit.
Well, and so in the end, the board in Colorado, 10-6, they voted to go with adults who commit sexual offenses. So I'm not sure.
That's any better.
Well, I guess the word offender.
It's just more technical.
Yeah, I don't get that. It strikes this balance between, or it strikes this balance that honors the impact to victims and recognizes the current and ongoing impacts of sexual assault. But it also avoids labeling the term that negative impacts on those who commit sex offenses. So
it still has offenses in the word, though.
Yeah, I don't under. Yeah, it says offenses. Adults who it's
saying offender in a longer way.
It's way longer. Yeah, it's and I gotta find this other one. They're trying to change. They're trying to change the word pedophile. It's supposed to be like minor
lover of underage.
No, it's legit something scarier. It's like minor attracted individual or something like that. It's they're giving it woke watch. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I love when I DuckDuckGo sometimes. Woke watch. Professor says replace pedophile for, and then I got to click the Toronto Sun. Thank you so much, Toronto Sun.
Minor attracted person.
Minor attracted person. Old Dominion University.
Got stuck on the fucking front page of this.
Hell yeah, look at that. Alan Walker aiming to destigmatize pedophilia. I voted City of Norfolk
as a child.
Nutty Professor Alan Walker thinks we should ditch the word pedophile in favor of minor attracted persons or MAPS. So isn't that a fun way to switch that up? So if you do have a child and you are worried about adults out there who might be monsters, this person is trying to call them MAPS. So even though Colorado went ahead and decided, let's do adults who commit sexual offenses, like that's what they landed on, Alan Walker here landed on MAPS. That sounds great, right, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, luckily in Utah, I'm pretty sure it's still not illegal if you kill somebody for catching somebody molesting your child. So
there was an amazing story where this guy like killed this pedophile. Turns out the guy assaulted like 13 other kids, and so the dad who killed the pedophile went to jail for like 10 years or whatever, but when he got out, they took care of him real good. All the families of the other children really came forward for this guy. Like, yeah, if you're going to jail, I killed a pedophile. All right, cool, don't fuck with that guy. But transgender Professor Alan Walker, who teaches sociology and criminal justice, which is also terrifying. Can you imagine somebody who thinks that minor attracted persons is teaching criminal justice? Like how? Like, you don't agree with all the crimes that or the laws that we have? Like, how are you going to teach criminal justice to people who are going to be enforcing laws if you don't agree with the laws themselves?
I'm just stuck on now. Walker has penned a book, nay, an homage, called A Long Dark Shadow, Minor Attracted People and Their Pursuit of Dignity.
Their pursuit of dignity. Well, guess what? They're not going to fucking get it, okay? Like, that's such a silly thing to say. Like, what are
a lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, and they automatically assume that it means sex offender, and that isn't true. What? What?
The egghead opines. I love the Toronto Sun now. And it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions.
So are they just saying, like, you're not a sex offender until you actually do something about it?
From my perspective, there is no morality or immorality attached to attraction to anyone because no one can control who they're attracted to. In other words, it's not who we're attracted to that's either okay or not okay. So this is like the rape thing. Look, I raped her because I can't help it. My sexual desires have just made me so unbelievably horny that I will rape people without their consent, okay?
Well, he's saying what you were just saying before.
Exactly.
He's saying, yeah, I'm attracted to minors, okay? But that's not bad because I stuff it deep down inside, okay?
I jam it deep down in here.
Jam it down
But I think that there is a sexual revolution that's been going on since Black Lives Matter really took off, where it is... It does feel like it doesn't matter how old you are. You need to express your sexual desires to the fullest. It's no longer okay to, hey, you know what? I love my wife and we love wax play. You know, but we do that in private. You know, it's not like that anymore. Now it's, hey, you're vaccinated. Show me your vax card. And what is your stance on anal play? Like, it's just everything is going to be out in the open now. Everything is going to be, hey, what are your stances on maps? It's like, I don't like them. Okay, well, you can't get on this bus because this is a maps only bus. Children are okay.
Well, I don't want to be on the bus. So
yeah, I'm not on your map bus. I'm too old anyway. But looking at all the, just looking at all this stuff, that's my big takeaway with this movement is it really is no longer about, and again, I think I say this all the fucking time. It's no longer about remember man, woman, and then procreation, getting the children, all of this stuff. You and I have talked about it 100 times. That's kind of where we started, and now it's turned into everybody's just so horny all the time. And since we're horny, let's just keep fucking things. And I remember when I learned the term pansexual, I thought, wow, we have gotten really down this rabbit hole. No longer bisexual is an outdated term because there's no longer two genders. Pansexual. Now that's something. So, and honestly, yeah, it just seems like everybody's just so. And look, maybe that's a good thing. We're no longer afraid to be who we are, and that's what they're trying to do with this maps bullshit. But at the same token, I think there's a reason why society was a certain way for thousands of years, and I think there's Alex Jones bringing up the gay frogs. They need the frogs to be gay to prove that there's other gay species out there. And there's nothing wrong with being gay as a human, but I'm just saying when you're doing this, now we're starting to, that's when it turns into inch, mile.
Yeah. Dude, I'm taken up by the comments because now you have to cut your mustache. Everybody's saying you got a map stash.
I got a map stash. Is this the map stash? Write that down. But no, this is definitely, yeah, I definitely have a more map vibe with this mustache, right? And even, I should have wore a ball cap. Damn it. I got the nice spiked hair. I look young. I could have tried to do what this person did with Alan Walker.
What is it? What baseball cap is most map?
Oh gosh, probably it's got to be a little league hat. It's got to be almost too small for your own head. It looks like
Orioles.
Yeah. Like the Orioles. Well, this is Toronto Sun. I think having that cute little Blue Jays hat might be pretty map stashed if I do say so. But
that's map-tastic.
Oh, there's so much map happening here. But either way, looking at this article, looking at where we're at, we're trying to get rid of pedophile. We're trying to get rid of sex offender.
Let's get rid of pedophiles. That sounds great.
No, we're going to keep them all. We're actually going to.
Oh, the word.
We're going to empower them. That's the other thing. Everything's about empowering people now. You're not allowed to shame anybody. So that's where this all goes. But I don't know. It as a newer father, I've been a father for a few years, getting ready to have a second child. And this internet thing's getting scarier and scarier, Zach.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it off in my house.
It's got to be the only
that.
way. Like, this internet needs to be for wrestling only, and like I'm worried that
Parental controls on everything.
I did find out you can get rid of ads like that on Google. Like when you're watching, like there is some setting. For some reason, I was defaulted into that. No, he's okay. He'll watch these commercials. I'm never gonna buy Google Pixel anyway. There must be some way to tell them, can't you just advertise Sunday Night Football? I love when they advertise the games that are coming up, college football. Can I be more of a cis white guy? That's what I want commercials for. Like, I don't need to. I'm not gonna get a Google Pixel. I'm not gonna get Google Fi. I'm not gonna download the Google app. Yeah, I'm not for me, Zach. So that's why they're not marketing towards me, obviously.
Good. I mean, if they're doing their fucking job, because all they are basically is an ad revenue company. Show me what I want to see. I don't want to see this other shit.
Zach, Omicron, dude. What are your thoughts? Because
we should be celebrating Omicron.
I work at a place where I get emails pretty frequently about what's going on in the health industry. And I got this article, Omicron may be less severe than Delta, early reports suggest. Now,
I've read like 15 of these fucking articles.
But I get this article, right? I share it to Facebook, right?
Oh, are you banned? Shadow banned?
Yes. Because I posted some pictures from this weekend on Facebook. 30 likes, whatever. I keep most of my stuff privatized, so I don't get. I'm not Drew Gooden or Danny Gonzalez out here, okay? But I share this article, and then I say, hey, hey babe, let me see your phone. And like I'm scrolling for a minute, not seeing it. I go onto my profile and don't see it. Like, why? What happened to this thing? I click on. If I go look on my own page, it's there. But on somebody else's, it's not there. So we all knew Facebook's been on it from the beginning. I shared this, and I even put like a caption, not trying to even start a debate. People ask me, this is what I get at work. This is what I see. Omicron may be less severe than Delta, early reports suggest. And that's not allowed to be shared.
Really, I'm on your page. Did nobody really like or comment this at all?
No, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it on your page. I did see when you posted it. But it's probably because Facebook knows it's what I want to see.
Yeah, nobody else wanted to see me, I guess. Cause
we're in each other's echo chamber. That's why.
Yeah, we're cis. We're cis maps. So, Omicron. But this whole thing, either way, I know that this has been happening from day one anyway, where it is like you share something that, the algorithm doesn't like this. Like, someone will post something anti-Trump, and it's the only thing I see on my feed. Facebook loves when people were bashing Trump. You bash Biden, that doesn't show up on anybody's feed. Nobody's seeing that. The algorithm doesn't like Let's Go Brandon. The algorithm doesn't like the little tips and tricks of the internet to make sure that people know that we out here. And I'm not even trying to start a debate. Look, I'm already vaccinated, so and also I got to bring this up, Zach. Remember this whole wearing a mask thing, and you're kind of a masker? Remember that?
Mask is gone. Future mask off. It's gone.
Well, my coworker has kids, right? And, they're back at high school, and they are getting sick every 2 weeks. And now...
Oh, yeah. It's been rolling through.
People's immune systems are destroyed because they just spent 18 months wearing masks, not being exposed to allergens, not being exposed to cold.
We're getting revved back up, baby.
There's so many things. There's an episode of The Office where Dwight Schrute even begs people to sneeze in his face. And I know it's a joke, and I know it's The Office, but a lot of that is, you need to get a stronger immune system. The more you get sick, the less you get sick. My cousin's a school teacher. She's never sick because she's been exposed to every virus that there is out there because these kids are snots running down their face. They don't wash their hands after they drop a Duke. There's all these things where you're getting exposed to germs. The masks were a fucking problem. So now that people are back to work or back to school or just whatever, people are getting more sick now. I got sick last week, but people are getting sick more than ever, it seems, because we shut down we told our immune systems, take 18 months off. And now there's a new variant and people are following. People are getting it. I agree. I won't say they're not getting it. But like I said, my coworker is vaccinated and she was afraid to not wear a mask at work.
This should be the best news we've got out of any of this over the vaccine or anything else. This is what we have to hope happens: is it's more contagious and less deadly.
Yeah. And I'm vaccinated. So, and all these people who are getting it who are vaccinated, and she even says, the first 2 confirmed cases were people that were vaccinated. And I go, yeah, but what were their symptoms? And she just kind of laughs.
Fucking headache.
They were
and
mild.
tiredness.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like you're saying, this is a way for everyone to get a version of COVID that they have not had before. Even if, look, hey, ideally, I still don't want to get it. I don't want to ever get this thing. I don't even like what I had the other day, all right? I went home with a fever and slept for 14 hours. Don't know what happened.
You get sick all the fucking time.
Look, I was on a really good streak, okay? It was like 6 months. And I was like, hey, this is great. I'm back to work. I remember when I started my job, I was getting over being sick, and now I got sick again. So, but I didn't miss any days that time. I had to go get COVID tested that one time, obviously. But I've missed like 2 days of work since I've been there. That's it's impressive for me, all right? When I was working at FedEx, I was getting sat down saying, hey, you missed a lot of work. It's like, yeah.
Malachi Black says War Games was awesome. Vleeties also Jeezy needs to breathe louder and heavier if he wants to nail his impression of Gino. Vleeties hates Christmas.
That's a good point. If you breathe heavy into that microphone, you will get a Gino impression. And
it's like a almost snore, right?
My favorite thing about Gino, it's a laugh. If I say something that makes him laugh and I'm listening, I'll listen back to when he and I talk. I'll say something funny and I just hear him do like a it's that sound. It's like a half laugh.
Like that.
I love it. I don't know what it is. He needs one of these pop filters, maybe a windscreen. Maybe he can do put the sock over the
Poor
mic.
kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Thank you so much. That's a good call. They are. Anna is real.
You got to turn that hat on him into a MAGA hat.
I should do that. I should get Peter Griffin in a MAGA hat. It makes so much sense. Or at least a make fullbacks great again hat. But before we ride off into that sunset, Zach, what are your thoughts? People were worried the country was going to get shut down again. I got an email from Robin Hood telling me to invest in Amazon.
No, dude, like I said, I'm fucking excited for this. I hope if I get COVID, it's this one, and it's not bad at all.
Are you still single vaxxed?
Yeah. I
don't get it.
I'm not pot committed, all right?
I don't get it. How could you be single vax? It just seems
dude, how about we'll talk about it next week. Go Google how the FDA is trying to get 55 years to reply to Freedom of Information Act's request about the vaccines.
I did see that. I saw that as well.
They want 55 years before they want to tell you what's going on with it.
Look, if my mom didn't beg me to get the vaccine, I would not be vaccinated right now. But she begged me, so I got it. She's my mommy. Okay, what am I going to do? Plus, we decided as a family, one of us needs to get it. Because one of us could it was either like one of us will die from the vaccine or one of us will die from the virus. 50-50.
Well, that's why I got it in the moment.
Yeah.
But then everybody survived. And I'm like, okay.
You're half vaxxed. I don't get it. And also, I'm becoming a believer that this thing isn't forever. I think it wears off. Yeah. The fact that they're talking about jab number 4 in Israel, I'm thinking that's jab number 4. And look, I'm not even against getting more jabs. All right. Sometimes I get a tuberculosis shot and I go, I don't even know what this is. Just put it in. That's what I say to all my friends. So that's what I say to all my maps out there. So either way, I do kind of agree that, as far as what we were promised, we were and I'm so sick of this. We were absolutely advertised one shot. You will no longer be able to get COVID. That's what we all were told. That's what we all agreed. Let's do it. Then this shit comes out and people are saying, well, no, you can still get it. Well, what were you just working on for a fucking year? What was the point? And I also love all the flip-flop as far as Kamala and Joe telling me I will not get a vaccine that Trump worked on. And then a year later, they're begging me. They're trying to shut down the country if we don't all get this vaccine that Trump worked on. I don't trust Trump.
Dude, what? I mean...
I always tell people I voted for Biden at work. I constantly, I don't know why I think it's the funniest inside joke.
You didn't vote.
No, I will always say look, because people will complain about gas prices or they'll complain about, food shortages or whatever. I went to Wild Wings and they ran out of wings the other night and they go, look, I know. I thought Trump was the worst president, so I voted for Joe. I didn't do any research on Joe. I just didn't like Trump. And now I made a mistake, okay? And as long as it's not Trump, I won't vote for Joe. Like I always say things like that. I don't know why I think that's hilarious.
And they're like, yeah.
He's like because he is such a. I don't mean to be this guy, but he is like the worst president ever. Like I don't know. Like even I think when I was a kid, like Bill Clinton, George Bush.
Is Kamala Harris even alive anymore? Have you seen her?
Dude, I guess she's on, like, I don't know. Like, this is like wrestling. It seems like she's not getting a push. Like, they're just kind of shoving her to the back. Like, she's on Velocity. And, like, she does, like, the shows that nobody's watching. But she's lost a bunch of her staffers this past couple weeks. I don't know what's going on. But again, all this stuff is, if you watch Fox News, which I don't, if you watch CNN, which I don't, you're going to get.
This is the most news I watch.
I know, exactly. And that's just us Googling. But look, I want to show people. I got this email from the Becker's Hospital Review. Like, this is an independent site. These guys only worry about hospitals and shit. They have nothing about them and obviously they're going to push vaccines, but everything, it's very anti-political, where they'll even call out Biden trying to force vaccine mandates and say, although unconstitutional, we got a vax mandate, like things like that will come out. But even just looking at, like, it's always who you follow. Like Jason, my buddy, we know Jason. He's a big Trevor Noah fan, and I hate Trevor Noah. At least I hated Trevor Noah. Now, like, if he sends me a clip, I'll watch it, and I actually will I'll hear Trevor Noah out, and it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But when the other day, Trevor Noah talks about how the CEO of Pfizer is pushing, for another jab, pushing for more lockdowns, trying to scare people into getting his vaccine so he gets more money. Trevor Noah's the one bringing this up. Suddenly, he's the new Ben Shapiro. Like all the conservatives are loving him, and all the Jimmy Kimmels are hating him, and it's this weird, like, world that we live in where you have to be one or the other. You're not allowed to be in the middle. You're not allowed to have any variances. No variants on that end. You can have 100 variants of the virus, but I don't know, Zach. I know that we come on here. We are super right wing.
Malachi Black says Vleeties hates Christmas.
But at the same token, like, I just don't. I think we do read stuff and we try and be heard out. We don't just watch Fox News. We don't just watch CNN. We actually go to multiple sources to get it, right?
I don't watch any of those. I read studies. I don't fucking read the news and headlines.
Yeah, and that's kind of where this came from. Was like,
shit. The best news source I have right now is fucking World Star on Instagram.
It's not bad at all. Like, I follow New York Post on Instagram. They give me some juice. They give me some meat. Even, of course, Daily Wire is super conservative. I tried, I'll say that, to follow, not even follow, but just keep an eye on the progressivist. And it's just the dumbest shit. And I love that Let's Go Brandon upset so many people, but I literally used to have friends that followed the account. We fucking hate Donald Trump, which is now the progressivist. So, like,
why did people hate him so much? I don't know. It's been too long now.
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. Like, I did listen to an old Joe Rogan from like 2018, and he did say Trump did say something stupid, and Rogan was anti-Trump at that time. So you can kind of, I mean, it was just commonplace. It was commonplace for everybody to hate Donald Trump. Maybe it's like that with every president, and I just don't remember that. Like, maybe because I didn't like Obama. I liked him some of the times, but I really remember him telling me when Paris blew up, and he says, "We will follow France." It's like, you realize there's a group of terrorists in the desert somewhere getting ready to attack America, right? You're just going to let France handle that? You don't want to volunteer our services whatsoever for that? No actions from us, huh? And then when the San Bernardino shooting happened and it was radicalized Muslims, I just looked at him like, you're a fucking idiot. You're an asshole. You're such an asshole. And then when he's on TV saying, we've had no foreign terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, I go, yes, we have. We absolutely have. We've also had a rise in school shootings and domestic shootings, which I attribute to the rise of social media, but nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to look at Facebook and TikTok and all the problems that, oh, I don't have enough likes on my shit. Why don't I have any likes on my shit? Why does nobody like me? Now I'm sad and depressed. Nobody gives a shit. I might as well kill everybody because that'll go viral. So that's what I see, Zach.
Well, I mean, too, like our biggest threat now is SUVs that run people over, apparently.
And we're going to bury that. Yeah, like that's been buried. Why isn't that all over the news? How come Jussie Smollett is not all over the news? Like, it really feels like the media really wanted that Rittenhouse shit. They really wanted that Rittenhouse stuff. They really wanted some riots. Who do the riots benefit, by the way? Like, I'm still waiting. Insurance companies? Like, who wants these riots? Because even I know people who are leaving New York, who are leaving California, who are leaving Chicago, leaving these overly blue areas to move to somewhere where they still take police work seriously. They still look. It's accountability. Like I think that's what I tried to explain to Jason when we got in an argument about racism, where he talked about, racism just doesn't go away. And I said, yes, but you also need to hold individuals accountable. You can't just say, I've been oppressed for hundreds of years, I'm allowed to do stupid shit. Like, that's not true. You have to, everybody's an individual, and every individual makes their own decisions. If 10 dudes are looting a Gucci, you can be the 11th guy to loot that Gucci, or you can go to school, or you can go to work. Oh, the system's against me. I can't afford to go to school. Yes, you can. There's free school. You can do LinkedIn Learning for $30. $30 a month, unlimited courses, knock out a bunch of courses, crush that job interview. Boom. Like, I'm solving the problem right now. So I don't know, Zach. I know that we wrap it up where it's kind of like, okay, we covered every headline that we really knew. But as far as
we missed like 2 weeks. We got plenty of shit.
I know we really do. But
I want to get it in before the end. I was listening to Kanye on Rogan
from
last year, and he had the best of what you were just talking about. He was like, yeah, there's systematic racism. It's called like Black History Month. Why the fuck do we need to have a month where you just remind us that we used to be slaves and you used to beat the shit out of us and you used to spray us with water hoses and ask us how that makes us feel? Like, why can't we just have fucking history?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have Black History Month where you remind us how fucked up it was?
And we've been saying that, where it does feel like critical race theory and even just the way they want to teach history is white people bad, black people victim. And like, what does that solve? What does that progress? What does that do? Now, are there examples of racism in the workplace? Absolutely. There's I read some post on LinkedIn the other day about some girl who was told blatantly that her hair wasn't professional, and she's black. It's like, what do you want her to do? She's either going to braid it or have an afro or be bald. Like, she doesn't have many options. Okay, she's not white. She's not blonde. She's not going to have the same hair that you have. So I do agree. Like, I see things like that do happen, but at the same time, we can't look at that example as that's what.
But there's also laws for that, and she could easily sue them.
Oh, she could easily sue. And also, I think, and I always say this, and this is what always comes off the most racist, I think, is culturally, you look at what's celebrated. And I'm not just saying in black community, I'm just saying the black people that are the most celebrated, at least, you like, do we have to watch World Star Hip Hop? Because it is like these rappers that I watch. And look, the rap could be amazing, whatever. I watched Last Chance U, and I think that's a great glimpse into the mind of these young black people, where it is, I'm either going to become an NFL star, I'm either going to become a rapper, or I'm either going to go to prison. Like, those are their three options. They're never told anywhere else in life that they can do something more than that. And I don't know. Like, it really is. I think that's a huge thing that's never really addressed. I wish I had my friend Jordan here to talk about it, because he kind of agrees with me, and he's black. He gives us credibility. But it's everyone.
Bring him on next week.
Everybody's so desperate for a label, and that's all I say that all the time, is everybody's so desperate for a label right now. Like, I wanted to be bipolar. That's my victimhood. I'm bipolar. That's why I have issues. Oh, I'm black. That's why I have issues. Oh, I'm trans. That's why I have issues. Like, everybody has to have their label to have issues, and I think that sucks. I think you should be leading with positivity, leading with gratitude, and just being nice to each other. Like, that's not a thing anymore. Being nice to everyone is no longer a thing. It's at least, hey, did you see I know we're supposed to wrap up, but did you see that protest at ASU where they're just blatantly like trying to, about Kyle Rittenhouse and, how he's a white supremacist and he killed.
They get out protested.
They were saying his ancestors killed black and brown people, and there's like this transcendence of black or of white supremacy. I was just shocked. I'm like, listening to this, like, who believes this? How did this person get to here?
Do they know that he killed white people, or do they still think he killed black people?
Well, they're blaming it on his ancestors now. Okay. It's no longer.
Well, I guarantee you, some of their ancestors probably also killed people of color.
Oh gosh, that's what always.
If you go far enough back.
That's what always. Well, and even I hate to be this person again, but Thanksgiving just happened, and I got an email from PBS, PBS.org. Zach, you know PBS. They do like kid shows and stuff. Yeah. They had the gay Arthur episode, no problem with that. They also had the weird Black Lives Matter Arthur episode, no problem with that. But the issue that I had was I get this email. How to properly celebrate Thanksgiving. I got to find this shit. No, I'm not going to find it. How to properly celebrate Thanksgiving. And I just thought, what the fuck is this? I've been celebrating it my way the entire time. And I'm reading this article, and the main thing that it says is, if you're with your children, tell them the real story of Thanksgiving. And that this is a difficult holiday for indigenous people and people of color. Because
watch Pocahontas.
Because Thanksgiving was not every Native American was there, because hundreds of thousands of them were slaughtered, and people of color have never, they weren't welcomed at tables of white families until blah blah blah. Like this really long thing about how awful white people are, and I'm like, wow, PBS sent this to a white person and thought he would be okay with it, and I'm reading
you wrote
this
them
thing
back, right?
So first of all, what annoyed me next was I clicked on the author, and the first thing it says is he's been a teacher for 18 years. I was like, oh fuck, this guy's around our kids. This map is around my kid, trying to teach him about this stuff. And how could you be a teacher and be so wrong about history, or so blind to the fact that it's not like look at it now. Look at the southern border. People are coming into this country, and whether you disagree or agree with how we're handling it, we're not attacking them. And that's what was happening when the white people showed up in America. It's like, whoa, foreign people, throw spears, attack. Like, there's a reason, and I hate to, like this, I know it's a derogatory term, Zach. There's a reason they were called savages, because it was like these white people showed up, and they're seeing primal, tribal people. And some of them were cannibals. I got to look up the name of that one, but in the Caribbean, the Native Americans there, or the indigenous people there, were cannibals. So we paint this picture like these indigenous people were heroes. But I don't know. There's a lot of
like they didn't take and land and steal from each other and kill each other,
or scalp people. Yeah, like, or wear bones. Like, come on, like, it's settled.
Well, did you see? Rogan watched I think it was a Microsoft. It was like a live stream that they did, and the girl walks up and she's like, "My name is whatever." She. Hershey. I'm wearing a red sweater and I have blonde hair and I'm a white female. And we just want to acknowledge before this meeting starts that, yes, this campus that we're on today used to own the land was owned by this tribe, and then this tribe previously, and this tribe previously, and like goes through like 15 tribes. So and Rogan's like, one, okay, are you gonna fucking give it back to him or not? Because if you're not, then shut the fuck up. And two, which one are you going to give it back to? Because they all used to own it.
Who gets it? And they're all warring over it anyway.
And you took it from them, so why is that any worse than them taking it from each other?
Yeah, and look, they have casinos, they have tribal health systems, whatever. We could do this all day. Like I'm Native American.
Worry about now.
Yeah,
past is keeping you enslaved.
Exactly. Why are you focused so much on your past and not even giving a shit about your future? Like, it's just that's the entitlement mentality where it's I'm a victim, I can't succeed, rather than what can I do to succeed. Everybody has a different start. Okay, it's how you finish that matters, and everybody wants to just sit back and I'm not one of the rich people, so tax the rich. Like, it's come on. Why don't you want to be one of the rich people? I want to get to that point. I want to have a tax guy who's like, okay, well, Ryan Van Vliet, you only make $80,000 a year. Ryan Van Vliet Incorporated. Oh, you are rolling in it, my friend. But Zach,
well, that's what you do. The corporation owns your house and your cars and everything else.
Yeah, I don't know. I am liquid. I have no assets. It's literally I get $50,000 a year. Like,
I'm taking losses every year, baby.
And that's why people were like begging for Trump's tax returns. It's like, you're not gonna find anything on that, right? I mean, Donald Trump has a tower settled.
It's legal to do everything he does.
Yeah.
So don't look at him. Yeah. Look at the politicians.
And if you don't like it, figure out how to do it yourself. And honestly, like, look at Barack Obama. He went into office with how much money?
I'm a Patriots fan. Come on.
He left with all that money. So
You're not cheating. You're not trying.
honestly, I kind of agree with that. I know that's like, Eddie Guerrero, but still,
There's a system in place, and some people are more successful because they figured out how to work it.
well, they also tried to figure it out. I think that's the other issue is that people don't even try and they just assume that, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it. It's like, no, figure out how to do it. Figure it out.
I swear to God, I never thought I was going to be out of credit card debt.
And look,
And I was like, oh, maybe I'll look at refinancing. They're like, oh, yeah, you can get like 40 grand out and have the same payment. I was like, what?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Fuck.
oh, okay, yeah. And now you're all out of
Life
credit.
changed.
You're out of credit card debt. And you're
I have had zero fucking stress for the first time in like 15 years
look at that.
this last week.
There's no one breathing down your neck.
Kept telling my wife, like, I'm going to get hit by a fucking car or something. Because I'm not used to not having constant worry about paying off credit cards.
There's no way this ends good for me. Well,
No.
Zach, we're gonna ride off into that sunset because I gotta talk to Gino about Cowboy Bebop, my friend, the new live-action Netflix series. I've watched it all. I did it. I actually watched it a lot quicker than I thought I would. Gino's watched it twice through, so he's a real fan. He's watched it. He did all that and worked 40 hours last week. I don't know how he's doing all of this, Zach.
Did he clean his room though?
I think I found out, Zach, I don't know where you've been. It's a bedroom in the basement. So I'm so confused by this.
So that means you can't clean it?
It sounds like it's getting smaller though. Like I was worried that he couldn't clean it because it was huge. Like this is a humongous room. Now the room is so small. He's got like a desk and the light is like in his face because the bed's behind. I don't know. It's amazing. He's an amazing character in my life. I'm fascinated by him. Crazy Juggalo Q. Like, all right, he's amazing. So let's ride off into that sunset. If you downloaded this, hashtags and headlines, I appreciate you. Also check out, I think I'm going to put the anime hole just on the Vleeties stream. I'm sure Gino's going to somehow work in wrestling while we're talking about anime because I have no interest in talking about War Games, no interest in talking about NXT tonight, no interest in talking about Ring of Honor. But either way, download some of that stuff. I appreciate you all. Zach, you have a good night, my friend. It was great talking to you. It's been way too long.
You too, brother. I'll see you next week.
Next Tuesday, probably just all football. Let's just do football because I've been watching a lot of
down.
football and even like the Patriots. We could have talked more about Mac Jones. We could
Hey,
have.
UFC as well. It's supposed to be a good weekend.
Oh, it's gonna be a fan. Didn't Poirier fight this past weekend?
No, that's this weekend.
Oh, okay, cool.
Poirier, Oliveira, and Amanda Nunes is fighting too.
I might actually be going to wrestling though, so I probably.
So, like,
won't.
if you want to see a dead body, just watch the co-main event.
I might end up just. I'm going to a SWE Fury, okay, to see Carlito and Charlie Haas. It's gonna be an amazing night of action. I don't know.
I'm going to be up in the mountains for our anniversary. We're going to a resort up in the mountains, but I'm going to try and sneak at least the last two fights in if I can.
Sneak a little crack streams, little crack streams here, little 720p streams. Well, either way, you enjoy that, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro.
That's my good friend Zachariah Geezy. He's one of the best that's ever done it. I'm gonna get Gino in here, and while I'm getting Gino in here, I'm also gonna take a short, not a break, but like I gotta take a piss. I'm gonna get some more tea, get some water, and we're gonna get Gino in here. Because Gino knows about this Cowboy Bebop. He's watched it multiple times. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, okay? He's a fan, obviously. He likes Cowboy Bebop. We're not going to fault him for liking Cowboy Bebop. He just likes it way more than everyone else, I think. So did I deny him? Okay, I accepted him. Thank goodness. I was so worried that I had denied him, but he's here. Gino, why'd you shave the beard? What's wrong with you?
I just chose you, man. I thought it would be a perfect idea and let it grow back to be even thicker, man. So I
Is
guess
that-
I could take a long time growing slowly.
It was so fucking thick. There's no way you thought it would grow in thicker, and you still kept the hair. What's going on with the hair?
Yeah. I just thought like I didn't have any like covers for the clippers that I had, so I just wanted to shave off the beard. Maybe I will work on the hair next when I find them. So again, I just have my bare clippers and I just
Get rid of that hair, Gino. Nobody needs that hair. You need to get a fresh mop, my friend. Just layer that off. Stone cold it up. Stone cold
Quickly
rock.
says you got it ass backwards.
Yeah, you got it backwards. We all were telling you the right way to do it, and you just decided to spit in our face.
again, it was my decision. I thought it'd be a good idea, see where it grows in the next few days, the next month or so.
There
Let it
you
grow
go.
out a little.
Well, okay, it's piss time. We're going to take a quick pee. Everyone together, all right? I'm not saying just me take a piss. This is for everyone. Go to the bathroom, okay? There's going to be an important bathroom break. When we get back, we're going to talk Cowboy Bebop and maybe wrestling, because I am going to wrestling this Saturday. but I'm going to play this a little bit louder. Maybe we'll get a gay commercial. Nope, no gay commercial. YouTube is ad-free tonight, Gino. Did you know that?
It's been ad-free for me since I've been using Brave consistently. So
hell yeah. Dude, I swear I get ads even with Brave, but not tonight because it knows I want to see those commercials. I'm going to try and screen record, see if I can get them. But let's take a quick pee break. I'll be right back.
That's it.
Splitmaster Sexy says how many ooses are worth one Rikishi?
How many ooses? Oos!
Fighting West.
Who am I? Welcome to Up Downtown. I'm your host, Austin Creed. Who am I?
Big Xavier Wood.
I like when he does that part. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. All right, my voice cracked, Gino. You can tell I'm still sick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Cracked again. To my anime hole. All right? Because, Gino, I was going to talk about wrestling. I was going to talk about SWE Fury this weekend. It's going to be as you say, Gino, it's going to be an amazing show. Like, I can't wait. It's going to be an amazing show. Carlito's going to be there. Charlie Haas will also be there. Jacob Fatu will also be there. Gino Medina will also be there. It's going to be fantastic, okay? It's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a GCW 4-star classic. GCW was here, by the way, Gino, but I did not go. The tickets were very expensive. And the card, they didn't announce the freaking card. They're the most stingy with trying to tell me who's wrestling. They don't want me to know. Why would I go if they won't tell me, Gino?
When they do tell you, you just have to pay attention to their social media and make sure which event you're going to.
I follow them.
They do tell you ahead of time.
No, they told me. They told me 3 of the matches. I was like, what else do we got? There's just 3? What is this? Is this ECW December to Dismember?
What were the 3 matches? I'm trying to remember which card was.
Don't
was
quiz
it So
me.
Alive or So High? Which one was
I think it was the Alive one. I think So High was in Houston, and then the Alive one was in Dallas. And even with that, the matches that they had announced, there was a little bit of interest. I looked up tickets, and it just was like, gosh, you guys are expensive. Like, why are you guys charging me so much to go see Backyard Wrestling? It made no sense, Gino.
I mean, also, I think the money does go to the talents. That's a big thing, is that it does help all these indie guys who are getting booked.
They are getting booked. This is a booking. They're getting booked.
Yeah. So they get booked. They get help from these fans who support them, also buying the merch and supporting GCW on their Patreon as well.
Okay, the 2 matches that I wanted to see, they didn't even announce the matches, by the way. So this is how they did it. They announced who was going to be on the card. So they had said that Thunder Rosa was going to be there. They said Jay Briscoe. Now I'm looking at the card, and it's both of the Briscoes. I don't know why it said Jay Briscoe. This was on their social media, not me doing things. And then there was another name that is no longer here, because it wasn't Janela. It wasn't Blake Christian. It wasn't Second Gear. I don't remember who the last person that they had announced was, but it was like those 2 names.
It was Blake Christian's return, so that was one thing they did put on their social media that I saw, is Blake Christian returns on this day since his no competes up.
Yeah, I didn't see that. All right, when I was looking, that wasn't on there. It was Jay Briscoe for sure and Thunder Rosa. So those were big enough names for me to look up how much this thing was. Okay, because I had family in town. We were hosting all weekend. What can we all do as a group? And I was like, oh, is there wrestling? There's got to be wrestling. I live in Dallas, so I looked up SWE. They weren't in town. I looked up VIP. They weren't in town. And just on a whim, I don't know why I thought, what's GCW doing? And sure enough, they were in Houston. And then I was looking like, no way. They're in Dallas tomorrow. How much are tickets? Like standing room, like way in the back was like $10, $20, plus $20 parking at where was it? The Bomb Factory or some shit. Either way, I didn't want to go after seeing how much it was going to be in total. I was like, this is expensive for Thunder Rosa and Jay Briscoe and hopefully Mark as well. All right, they were trying to get me to pay $20, like it was all. They wanted me to go to an OnlyFans show for Thunder Rosa, okay? And if they would have advertised it that way, I still wouldn't have gone, Gino. So, what about Melissa Santos? You heard about her OnlyFans, right? Are you a subber yet?
I am not. Sadly, I've never heard that she had an OnlyFans.
Sadly, have you ever wanted to join an OnlyFans of a wrestler? Like, it just seems so useless to me. We already pause it while we're watching TV. We need more.
Not of a wrestler, but there was a time when OnlyFans was starting off where I did join like a porn star's OnlyFans.
Oh, good for you, Chino. Which one was it? Asa Akira?
No.
Do you listen to her podcast? Every time I listen to Joe Rogan on Spotify, and the app always says you might also like Asa Akira.
I did not know she had a podcast.
No, it's right. It's up there with Renee Paquette's. All right, it's great. The pacing is fantastic. The stories that everybody tells are really. You would think it's about fucking, so it's got to be kind of interesting. It's not. Welcome to the anime hole, Gino. We're supposed to be talking about anime, not OnlyFans. I don't know how you got us here so fast, but I watched Cowboy Bebop. Okay, now you and I, you've been pushing me. You've been wanting me to watch this whole thing like immediately. And I didn't have the time, okay? I was busy, but good thing for all of us, I got dangerously sick last week. So I watched some of it on Tuesday and then more of it on Wednesday. And then I think I finished it up like Thursday night or something, like after you and I had talked. We didn't talk. That was why I finished it. So I watched this Cowboy Bebop. Now, for those who have not seen all the episodes, I'm going to throw this out there now. This is the anime hole. We're going to get super in-depth into spoilers and key moments of the storyline. So if you're not familiar or if you don't give a shit, this is for you. We're also probably last time we tried to do this, Gino, we tried to do a preview, like a pre-Cowboy Bebop release, and we talked about Death Note for a half hour. So we need to stay on topic. We're not talking about Death Note, even though I'm probably going to watch that as soon as we're done now that I brought it up. How great is Death Note?
It's so good, but also Cowboy Bebop still holds up, man. You should watch the anime and realize just this is better.
Well, I think that's another issue that I have with people like you. People that watch Harry Potter and go, the books are better. People that watch Percy Jackson and the Olympians and go, the book was way better. The movie's missing a character. I don't give a shit. I am watching this show for the show. I'm going to pretend I've never heard of Spike Spiegel. I've never heard of Jet. I've never heard of any of these people. I've never heard of them. Like, that's how I live. So I think the problem that a lot of people have is, oh, they're making a live action of this. I'm immediately going to remember what I actually really enjoyed, because that just sets you up for failure. Now, when I watched the Death Note movie, I went into it going, okay, this is a completely different storyline, completely different movie, just the same theme a little bit. And it was terrible. So that was terrible standalone. That was god awful. I couldn't believe that was what that director decided to do with the characters. Because I get you, but even the L character really was awful. God awful L character. Misa, or whatever the version they had of her in the movie was terrible. Either way, I went into Cowboy Bebop as I know nothing about Cowboy Bebop, all right? I even learned that bebop is a style of jazz from watching this live action version. I did not know that when I watched the cartoon. I just thought it was called Cowboy Bebop. They're cowboys in space. Bebop's a fun word. This is a good show. And when I say I haven't watched the animated version in months, like it's probably been it's been a while. I've only watched the whole thing through one time, okay? Because I only watched it last year. It's still pretty fresh in my brain. And I have gone back and I watched the episode, obviously, of the Le Fou. I watched that episode like a few times. I've watched that in English and in Japanese and then in English again, because that's my favorite episode. And then I've also watched the one with like the purple sludge thing that kills them all, in like that weird episode that just is like a standalone random episode. So I've seen those multiple times. And I've also watched the last episode twice, because the first time I watched it, I really didn't absorb it. I had to check it out again. So, amazing show. The animated series is fantastic. Now, what were your expectations for the live action? Because you were already, you were geared up to hate it, right?
I was geared up to be disappointed, not hate. I was geared up to like wonder, okay, the showrunner, he made the whole tweet that he expects or he feels that they can make seasons out of this. And that really stuck with me, like, no, this should be one. You should be at least somewhat faithful, because the story ends perfectly. But they're like, we want to change it.
Sure.
And after watching, it's like, I can see what they're doing, and I don't mind it now. But at the time when I first watched, I was like, I'm gonna be disappointed, because they're wanting to change everything, and they kind of do. And part of me at the time when I first saw it, I was like, this upsets me.
Well, I went into,
because I love the anime.
So I did not even realize. Now, I thought it was going to end. I didn't realize they were going to try and do seasons out of this. So that was a surprise to me when I watched that last episode. So again, I'm one of these people, when people say, have you seen the trailer for the new this? I go, no, absolutely not. Why would I want to watch? Why would you give me just a little bit of the drug? I want the drug. Just give it to me. Why would you give me a shot of Bud Light when I can buy a 12-pack? So that's kind of how I approach a lot of television shows, a lot of movies. You know, I hate watching. I don't want to know. I want to know Keanu Reeves is in it, and then I'll go see the fucking movie. That's good. That's all I need. With Cowboy Bebop, I knew it was Cowboy Bebop. I knew Spike Spiegel was involved. I knew Jet Black was there. I knew Mae Valentine. I had not seen, so I will give credit to, I think you pointed this out to me. I did not see any Radical Ed, and I was okay with that. I was like, okay, it doesn't seem like Ed's in this. That's fine. Her character might not fit this short, you know, they did a 10-episode or 9-episode kind of deal. There might not be enough time to go to Earth. Maybe, you know, we'll figure that out when we get there. So, because I had just seen the 3 of them. I just saw shots of them in Ein. I saw the 4. So I thought they wrote her off entirely. Now, I watched, so going from the beginning of this thing, just the way it starts, I thought it was fantastic. And I remember talking to like maybe a few weeks ago, you and I were talking about this, where it is so much of the character as far as he is still cartoony and gimmicky as far as all this chaos is around him, and it's no big deal. He's like Diesel. He's Big Daddy Cool. He doesn't give a shit. And you mentioned that it's set in a world of realism, and I just, or at least the character, is that what you try to say? The characters are more realistic?
They try to be more like real compared to like the anime. Like, yes, they're still kind of over the top to an extent. Like Spike even like does the motto of his being the whole whatever happens happens, and we know the whole reason why he has that belief and him following through with that is because he's masking the real pain and all the stuff that he's really going through the entire time, and make himself believe he's just laid back and cool when he has so much torment and pain.
This was the best, like, out of any live action anime thing anyone's ever made me watch. And this might only be the second thing I've ever seen, but it was great. I thought this was really well done. I thought the story of Julia, because even, let's compare this direct to the anime. It is a little silly that he's dead for 3 years. And he never tries to go back and get her. We're to assume as viewers that he's just been cowboying it up for 3 years with this guy. So now he just returns and she's in love with him. I kind of like that they made her a little bit more of a strong, independent woman. And she's like, no, I can have the entire throne here. Fuck you, Spike Spiegel. Why do I even need you here? Like, you're ruining. I already had something in motion. Finding out you were alive helped me have my thing that was in motion.
Did she though? Because here's the thing, when I was watching it, the entire 10 episodes, you don't really get a sense that she wants and is power hungry.
What?
You don't really get that sense. Not to me.
She wanted
Vicious
Vicious
like
dead.
she wanted to get Vicious dead so she could be free to leave with Spike.
Oh, see, I didn't get that at all.
She still had that feeling for Spike, because I thought they're going to still connect with Spike, because we know how it should end where she dies.
Nah, even her singing in the bar, there was a lot of stuff that just made me look at her as she is her own character now. She's no longer just Spike's like apple of his eyes, no longer the girl that divided these two. She's her own person, which makes a lot of sense. Like, why would you still be with Vicious, after all of this stuff, after having those feelings for Spike? Oh, she's happy, she's with Vicious, whatever. But yeah, I would be furious if we hooked up, you disappear, I'm told you're dead, I find out you're not dead 3 years later, go fuck yourself. So I actually kind of like that they tweaked your character a little bit.
Then there's also the line that she says where I think it talks to Spike or Vish, one or two, I forget which one, but she says, how could you be with a woman who slept with your friend?
White kids.
Yeah, that's true. Poor kids are just as bright.
Upset me so much, because I was like, because that person actually cares about you and actually doesn't mind forgiving you to move on so you can be together.
Yeah, but you can't preach loyalty then. So, Gino, you got to watch this show one more time, because you can't preach loyalty about how I'm going to be loyal to you if you can't even be loyal to your friend. So even if it's not a form directly of cheating on somebody, if you're Julia and you see this guy who, hey, we're brothers, we're partners, everything we do together. I would kill a child for this guy. We do everything together. How can you trust this person? And he did kill that child. So even if you're Julia, there's so many things about Spike where he is flawed. He left you for 3 years. He betrayed his best friend by sleeping with you. There's so many things that he did wrong where, as viewers who like Spike Spiegel, we're just supposed to go, Spike, he's the hero. He's supposed to get the babe at the end of this. But I think in 2021, and also just in a live action adaptation where we're no longer worried about fan service, we're no longer worried about just kind of a simple format, damsel in distress role. We finally kind of had a unique twist on things where it was, like, to me, way more realistic. Like, the way they set it up to where in my head, I'm like, yeah, why would she still be waiting around for this guy? And then they even, like, they had one night of passion, and it's like, I'm supposed to wait around for 3 years? No, fuck this guy. It was a mistake. I'm with the big boss now, and now I'm about to kill the big boss and get all of it. She's great.
It took me some time to realize, like, I'm okay with this, realizing that this is not Cowboy Bebop. This is a whole different thing. It took me time to realize that, just accept it, because, again, I love the anime so much, and the anime still holds up, thankfully, and this doesn't take away from it.
No, but
I
again,
still watch it, still love the show.
I think I think a lot of people should be more like me, where if you watch each of these things as individuals, yeah, they're fantastic. I think whenever you automatically and it's natural. I think if you watch something called Cowboy Bebop, you're gonna automatically go, well, it better be like my Cowboy Bebop. But in that same vein, when you watch, oh, okay, it's the same name, it's clearly the same source material, but I have to watch it from a different lens. Like I can't just want more of what, because Cowboy Bebop ended. Like for those who don't know, the animated series ends. Like that has a logical end, and it's over. That's why they only did one season.
Way.
Yeah, it was great, and
it could have also continued too. Because again, the ending is it's supposed to be up in the air, which is what I like about it.
They made a movie. Well, I thought he died.
That's the thing. It's up in the air if he dies, because again, we don't fully get the confirmation. The big thing that can symbolize the idea of if Spike dies when he falls to the ground is the doves flying, since the doves also fly when Julia dies. But again, there's no absolute saying yes, Spike is dead.
Well, they did that movie. I never finished the movie, but
the movie was fine.
Yeah, it was. I've only watched the opening, and it's much like this live action version.
Yeah, the opening of the movie is the same opening of the live action version.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much the same.
There's the guy taking a shit. He's the fourth guy.
Yeah, one in a liquor store. Yeah, liquor store versus casino. It's all the same shit. Like it really is the same vibe. But either way, I looked at this series from a different view, from a different lens of I just had to put Cowboy Bebop aside, other than I know that Spike Spiegel is this character. I know Jet Black is this character. And I remember before we even got to watch the show, you were worried about Faye Valentine. What was your worries, and did they come true, or did they switch them up?
They did end up being, it was fine when I first thought of, because when I first saw her costume, again, because I felt with Faye Valentine's character, she uses sexuality kind of to weaken others and to get people's attention, so as she can get into them, and she does use that still, thankfully. But again, when I first saw her costume, it was so she's covered up completely from head to toe, and there's no for her showcase sexuality. But then there are scenes where she does, so at least she still uses that to her advantage.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as
you
white
can
kids.
be sexy as fuck without showing your tits, Gino. I don't know why you're so. See, this is the anime fan service fan in you, where it's what? Faye Valentine only worked because she was almost naked, and guys were jerking off to her. They couldn't keep her eyes off of her. You can still have that. She was still very pretty. She was very, very. Her character was very attractive, and even her trying to find her family, I kind of like that they had that on the back burner. I was a little worried because I think even in the animated version, I didn't really like that episode where she was focused on getting to know who she was. Because maybe it's because the way they did the show, where it is Spike Spiegel, Jet Black, they introduced this other character, and I'm supposed to care about her. But I like these guys so much, like this dog. Why are we spending a whole episode on this lady? But I don't know. She was still sexy. You didn't think she was amazing in this show?
She was. Again, she ended up being that way. But again, at first, when I first received the trailer and then that Lost session, where I was okay, so they're kind of keeping up with it. But in the show, she really did keep up with her character. And I end up really enjoying what they did with her backstory. And even in the anime, I like that she was trying to find herself, because, again, that's the big thing of her entire journey is, even though she's this bounty hunter and she's being on this adventure trying to find herself again, that's the big thing to her. She doesn't know who she is.
In the cartoon,
and in the anime, when she finds her house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in the cartoon, was she a bounty hunter at the beginning? I thought she was just sort of around, like she was working in a casino or some shit. I didn't know that she
was forced to work at a casino to pay off the debt that she stole. I believe her bounty she had, because she wasn't really working the casino, because she was doing her own thing, taking advantage of the situation.
Because I thought she
had the chip, and she's I gotta have the chip because that was to make the money.
Yeah, I thought she became a bounty hunter after she met Spike and Jet in the cartoon, at least. In the live action, she was already getting bounties, and she won Spike over by telling her amazing stories about the bounties that she had captured. So, that was a little tweak, I think, to that character. But ultimately, and also the LeFou episode, come on, outstanding. That's the thing is, I was kind of wondering how much they would pull from the animated version and bring into the live version. That LeFou episode was absolutely perfect. And again, I'm not trying to compare them apples to apples, because obviously the cartoon is way better. It was a kitty, not a doggy. And I never had
dogs, and they're all different dogs.
Yeah, all these different dogs, and It was
some of them are cute. And it's like, okay, so they're cute dogs, and yet he just is wanting to kill them.
Yeah, he just doesn't know because dogs were barking at him while he was getting surgery on. But I thought it was a really, really good episode, and I was waiting for it, I was waiting for it, but I also had forgotten about it. So it was
parade, you forgot the parade.
Well, I just mean like once it started, I thought, oh yes, like I forgot we were gonna get one of these episodes. Like out of all the episodes they had to do, this was the one they had to do. Because that's the only one I rewatched multiple times. When Hunter used to co-host the Anime Hole with me, I was gushing over this episode, and I thought it was fantastic. Yeah,
they did a really good job. But like again, because of the budget, I think that's why they didn't do the parade, because the parade would have been impossible to do within the budget they had. Because they would have had to put like a lot into like everything, like the giant dog.
What was the budget they had? What's going on here?
I don't know if like it was like I don't know entirely how much the budget they had, but again, I think it was just like not as much as like because there's scenes you can kind of tell what they do. Like
just as bright and just as
they
talented.
turn down the lighting for like some scenes, like that church scene. You can kind of tell like it's not that great.
I don't know, Gino. They spent a lot of fucking money on this show.
They did on the ship, and like the CGI did do well. I wanted the parade, but it would have been like difficult for them to make the parade because that would have been a perfect way for him to instead just fly up into the sky.
I don't know. I kind of like that. I agree. Like the parade was a key part of it, but it was also that scene of him getting to Earthland, or whatever it's called.
It's called Earthland in this show.
that scene was way longer in the animated version. Like it really felt like the live action they had done a lot more as far as building up who Lefu was, building up.
He doesn't speak.
Yeah,
in the anime.
Yeah, exactly. He does cry mommy though after he gets
he still cries mommy, but again he doesn't speak. But he somehow can control dogs, even though he fears dogs. That's that made no sense. He controls data dogs.
Well, he didn't see the dog while he was doing it.
So he's fine not seeing dogs.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to
control them.
He just knows that where he's from, dogs were used in a certain way. So there was a lot. I liked it, and I don't think there's any budget. There were no budget holds on this fucking show. The sets,
I would assume there would, because that's why we didn't get the parade.
No, that can't be why. We didn't get the parade because I think they were rushing that episode. It was already an hour long, and they thought we gotta wrap this shit up. No time for a parade. Plus, it made more sense because Spike was already pinned down. He was getting ready to be dead. And yeah, they didn't do the roller coaster scene either. Like
Quigley says Gino is cowboy get bop.
Yeah, get bop, Gino. We didn't need the parade. We had plenty of other stuff. The budget was insane on this show. Okay, like
there was some stuff where like it does look really good.
Watch the set. The set they built is insane. Like everything they did for this show, I just couldn't believe it. Watch the episode where he's laying in the thing and he puts the thing over his eyes and he's living in that world.
I hated what they did to that Scratch episode.
Oh, so was that an episode in the cartoon? I can't even remember that.
Yes, the whole point of Scratch was the beginning of it's where Spike's changed the channel. You're getting all these advertisements of this church, this cult that Faye goes into undercover. Well, kind of undercover. But it's all about this cult and this guy who's this doctor who, again, has the third eye. He's opening his eyes. He's explaining to you how your consciousness can be uploaded to this computer, upload to like the net, so you can really be free of yourself. And what turns out to be is that Ed and Jet have to go to this hospital, which they find out is where the AI is, which is being controlled, like somewhat involving this kid who's in a coma or dying. It's like his consciousness is like the AI, I believe.
Something like that. I loosely remember that episode, but the best part of
they changed up completely, which I didn't mind because they gave us what I think was the big focus, which was Spike talking to Julia.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just that was all the big thing of that instead of, which is fine, but I also was like, I love the Scratch episode because I enjoy the whole psychology idea, like about like that, not psychology, but just the idea of like the afterlife and what it is and the questioning of that and the whole concept of what they're presenting.
Yeah, but
televisions control people's perception.
But my argument to that then, Gino, is if you like that episode so much, just go watch it. Like this is a different story. Like that's what we need to keep doing. Is this is not that. This is not the cartoon. The characters.
Even though we also get stuff that's almost exactly like cartoon, like the very first episode.
Sure, yeah, some stuff is ripped from the cartoon, but ultimately you need to just close your eyes, forget there's a cartoon, and just watch the show for what it is. Because I think that was the problem with, I guess, the biggest complaint before, it was Ed, right? And now when I was watching the show, I did my best to avoid IMDb because I'm a sucker for looking up, shit, I know that guy from something. What's he from? And then I look it up on IMDb, and then I read he's only in 2 episodes. So I go, oh shit, he probably dies or something. So I do that all the time. I did my best to avoid IMDb. I did not. But when I looked up IMDb, the rating was like a 6.5 or something, like stars out of 10. And I was probably like 6 or 7 episodes in. And I'm thinking, at that point, think of that, 5 episodes in, what do people not like? Like, this is what I thought we were going to get. It's 2 dudes trying to collect bounties. They have a hot chick who's kind of throwing them off. Like, that's what this show is. What are people not liking? And then I did ultimately, once I got to the last episode, I started to read the reviews, and all of the reviews hated the debut and the last scene of the show, and that was Ed. Like, is it because it didn't end? People thought it was going to end, and it didn't. And then people didn't think Ed was in it, and she was?
It's a mix of both, I believe, and because people, and again, me at first, I agreed with that Ed does not translate well to a live action situation because Ed is kind of all over the top and all out over the place. But what I was surprised at, and after watching it the second time, I understood, and this interview that she had, the person who plays Ed, this was her first role, and she loves Ed. And I appreciate that this young actress got this role and actually loves this character that I do have a soft spot for, because like Ed is a very necessary character for the Bebop.
So I actually, to be frank, if we could talk about the cartoon, I hate Ed. I thought it was kind of a random, let's plug in the wackiest character that we can just to have some comedy, but it wasn't funny. And that's kind of what it seemed like. I like that she would hang out with Ein because it did feel a little weird, like Ein's just alone on this ship. So at least there was somebody to watch Ein. And then when she showed up at the end of the live action show and was, the same as she was in the cartoon, I thought that was totally fine because this is also a show where I watched Asimov fucking shoot red shit into his eye and go crazy. So like there had been some other random silly shit in this show. And I think people, when they saw Ed, they all kind of admitted at the same time, oh yeah, we fucking hate Ed. And I think that's kind of because for me, honestly, that's what I thought I was going to get if I saw Ed, and I actually liked it. I thought what a great way to introduce her, because I was confused why the show wasn't ending. I thought, wait, Spike's alive? And now here's Ed saying we got to get a bounty. Now it's like, dude, gang's back together. We have Ed, we have Ein. Ein was back. Remember they said they got rid of Ein, but now he's back. They got Faye and they got Jet. We are ready for season 2 with the entire crew assembled. We got rid of the Julia storyline. We got new shit to focus on. I'm excited.
Well, again, with Jet said that he wants to kill Spike, which again, if they never see, which we might see, hopefully they will get back together if that does happen. But
yeah, they will.
Another thing that upsets, like irks me a little bit, because I guess this is their way of like telling us and explaining us why Vicious has his name, and that is Fearless. Fearless, that annoys me sometimes. Just that name.
Why?
Being like, this is what Spike's name was. Even though it said just Spike, it was like, we now have to have this backstory. Be like, why Vicious has this stupid name to some people? Why does he have this one name character?
What do you not?
Was their way of explaining it.
What do you not like about it? I don't.
Because I don't like the idea of like him being named Fearless. Because I don't think his name should ever be named Fearless. It's Spike. Because Spike just is his name to me.
But
so that guy's slightly annoying me a little bit when they were constantly calling him Fearless. Fearless is alive. Fearless is not dead.
Well, Fearless and Vicious, it kind of made sense. I don't know. Like, and again, yes, I think
it makes sense for the Syndicate.
You were watching it from a perspective of somebody who's seen the animated version. So, like, I know, did they call him Fearless in the animated version?
Nope, never. He was always Spike.
Yeah, so like that's fine, but I think it makes way more sense if you've been dead for 3 years. That you switch your name, you change it up. You don't want to be tracked down by the same syndicate that killed you. So I thought that was fine. It's funny that you're like, it irks you, and I'm watching your face get madder and madder as you're talking about
because it's a terrible name.
Why is it
like
Vicious is terrible? What are you talking?
Vicious makes sense though.
You know our main characters are named Spike Spiegel and Jet Black, right? Like this whole show consists of really stupid names.
It's stupid names, but again, like we have to have an episode all about the backstory where we understand, and we just get to showcase like they have these stupid names because they're part of the syndicate. That syndicate guys get stupid names.
Yeah, but but I love that syndicate episode. I don't know. I didn't know that wasn't liked. I thought that was a great episode. It was a
fine episode. Like the best thing from it was that one scene that looked like it was one shot take of him killing the cartel, which I think John Cho actually got hurt during that scene.
Oh, that was a great scene. Killed the kid. That was sad. But I thought that was a great episode because I hate when I'm watching Netflix shows specifically because I know I'm binging it. And they do an episode where they go back in time. It's not just Cowboy Bebop. Like it seems like every Netflix show wants to do that. Hey, we're on a roll here. You've watched 7 episodes in a row. Let's make episode 8 all about something that happened way before the show you've been watching this entire fucking time. Like they love that. Everybody loves that with their television shows now. Let's do a bottleneck episode that has nothing to do with the whole series. But hey, you're already committed, so just keep watching. And I thought that was a perfect one. It still was fast paced, and it still let me know a lot more about that vicious and fearless storyline. And again, I'm watching it from the perspective of I'm looking at it as a whole new series in general. I'm not watching this like somebody who's watched Cowboy Bebop the cartoon. I know I've heard of Cowboy Bebop. This is a show. Let's check it out. And I loved that episode. That might be my favorite episode of the whole series was because I didn't really. Maybe it didn't. They must have done it in the animated series, but I can't remember. It just felt like that was a perfect representation of these guys used to be friends. Even though Vicious is a piece of shit, it still was kind of nice to see. They used to be cool. They used to be friends. They used to have banter. I don't know. It was a great episode.
It was a fine episode. My opinion, I feel that the Noir episode was the better episode. The Jet Black episode where he's back as a cop.
Oh yeah,
finding down that guy again. That was, I think, the better episode of the entire show. And one thing that again, it didn't upset me too much because his character would have been fine if they added him, but he didn't need to. Was the second episode with the Teddy Bomber? We didn't have Andy.
No Teddy Bomber.
Teddy Bomber was there. We didn't have Andy, the cowboy.
Oh, that's right. Well,
we didn't get Andy.
Well, and even. We did get. That's funny. We did get the Teddy Bomber though. I remember that. So
they had to be in a spaceship instead of trying to kill a giant.
And I will go back and watch the animated version eventually. But I do think, and obviously, like if I had to rank which one I like more, obviously the animated one's better. I mean, that was in 1999. It was a different time. It was unique. It was taboo. It was fun. It was sexy. This one was still sexy, but it was also we were all watching it. Oh, it's called Cowboy Bebop. It better be like Cowboy Bebop. And I'm watching it. Okay, it's just good. I mean, it was good. Was it better than Squid Games? Probably not. But it was still a good show. I mean, I would probably rewatch it in a few years when season 2 drops. I'm going to check it out. I don't think there's anything to complain about.
There's nothing to directly complain about except, to me,
except again, Fearless and Ed.
There's not just that. Also, it kind of upset me, not because the change to their character was Gren. Gren's whole story is not there.
Wait, who?
You don't remember Gren? Gren,
yes, Gren's
was during the whole time when they were fighting with Vicious, and again he transitioned to a woman, and we had the whole saxophone scene with Faye, and then Gren wanted to go back to Titan, so Spike during their last time just took her on her ship to the planet. But again, in the live action, she's just a non-binary character who is part of the bar.
Yeah, that was a weird change, but we had less. We did have less time to work with, I guess, even though we had more time. It was, and this is 2021, Gino. We're not allowed to just mention that she's trans. We have to make
she's Gren is non-binary in this one, but again, in the anime, she was a man.
Because in 1999, there was no such thing as a non-binary. That's why, that made sense back then. This was weird. This was to make a statement, to make a point,
and to have instead of her being a shopkeeper, it's a bar, a club owner.
I guess
Also,
I forgot that name, by the way, Gren. Because even when they were
forgot that their name was Gren.
Yeah, because when you were when you were saying that, I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. I forgot that character even existed because that was like 1 or 2 episodes, wasn't it, of having that
Yes,
character?
it was a 2-part episode she was part of, and so was the brothers that again both helped Spike because they were gonna turn on Vicious. Again, we don't get that either. That didn't happen.
So see, but again, you're naming things that are on the animated show.
Yeah, the anime that did not happen.
So I
think one of them is in the anime, or at least by name they're in the anime, but the brothers are not involved.
But everything that you were complaining is a direct. It's you. Yeah, you watched the anime. Now you're watching the live action. All of your complaints are they didn't do this. They didn't do this. But if they would have done that, it would have just. Why would we want a carbon copy, scene by scene, cut for cut, of the cartoon?
Right.
Like, why don't we just get something different, something new? Just create. I even add new characters. Like let's really mix it up. Don't call that trans person or that non-binary person Gren. Get a new name. Let's do something different. So I think that a lot of your complaints and the internet's complaints for that matter, you and Squared Circle Reddit probably hated this live action version. But ultimately, I think that this was a good show. I would tell people that have not watched the cartoon to watch this live action version. I think it stands alone on its own as a good show. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if I showed this to somebody, they would kind of go, oh, this is all kind of weird and sucks. And the only reason I enjoy it is because I know this universe that they're living in. Because they also they don't go too much into the like the cowboy show. Yeah, I forget what it's called. Where they're talking about
shots.
Yeah, they don't do that they don't really explain that in the live action version. Because I remember loving that part of the animated version, and this was kind of just they sat down and watched it like one time together. Like it was like and this is kind of
that was all just so that we fucking Spike and Faye got to do something because they were trying to do something while Jet was doing his own adventure.
Yeah, well,
but they couldn't turn out on any fucking bounty.
And also, that was another part of this version that I liked was I remember in the cartoon it was like they're like a bumbling duo. They never get the guy they're going after, and they did that a lot in the live action version where you almost never see them collect a bounty. Do they ever get a bounty?
Nope.
Yeah,
the biggest one they almost got was the guy who was supposed to be the tall black dude from the second episode.
Yeah.
Who had iron, but again, the cops killed him because the cops did not want to pay the bounty.
Yes. Yeah, there was plenty.
Like he had a gun on you. We had to defend you.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady shit, but it was also very, very. I don't know. I thought it was great. I definitely recommend everybody watch it.
It was good. Again, each episode had like their own takes, and it could be seen as good or bad. Like the eco-terrorists turning people into trees instead of human monkeys.
That was awesome. The tree one, that was great.
It was fine, but like I preferred like the human monkey idea that they did in the anime.
See, that's you're
because like they were like in more pain. I felt like you, the tree, like yes, that
more pain,
more painful. But like because you're just being reformed to monkeys, like your brain is like deformed and like turning into like rage.
Dude, these people were getting ripped into trees. They were turning into trees, and it was fun to even like have the news anchor like, wait, you say trees? Oh, it was such a good episode. That might be the best episode of the whole thing. Now I'm changing my pick because even the ending of that where the daughter like kills the mom and they don't get the bounty, it was, again just keeps on like these guys are supposed to get money.
Something we also should talk about, since we didn't really go on this that much, is I don't like the change they made to Vicious, because one thing they did was he is just trying to kiss everyone's ass to try to make the coup happen. Because he tries to kiss the one chick's ass, be like, help me out, we can do this, we can make this work. Then he kissed the ass of the black dude who had the one line that you only know power if you
eat a man's testicles
of a man who's betrayed you, which is absolutely a dumb line.
Why is that dumb? That's fucking so
true. Like, how does that make sense? Then you have the dinner party where you get a whole pot with testicles.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
It doesn't feel right for it to be live action.
Come on, but then what do you mean? Because it's live action. We also
I think it'll be better in animated form than the live action, even though I don't remember this scene at all in the anime with them talking about the coup.
I like that.
It just happened because Vicious just had red eye and again was a dealer and being this perfect guy who was, again, he's sinister, he's hidden, and when he's involved in the show, it's a bigger deal because he's a scary figure in the anime.
But
in live action, he's just kind of an ass kisser.
All of your complaints are the same. All of your complaints are,
the anime compared to the
I just wanted to watch the anime. I just thought I would watch.
I wanted him to be important.
I thought this was so awesome the way they did this with Mao, where they, he's setting up Mao to, hey, I need you to help me with this. We need Santiago involved. Which, by the way, I learned their names, Gino. I just don't say the woman and the black guy. So and then
not everyone else. So you don't remember Grant?
Yeah, I don't remember Grant. That's a good point. But
the most important character.
By far the most important character, the tranny at the bar.
Spike's character.
But but the scene where he's eating testicles out of a bowl in front of the guy who's getting ready to betray him. Are you not watching this whole show?
I am watching the story.
This was like poetry. For you to complain about it is so insane. Like, it's like the best. Like, you're making me love it more. You do this with wrestling too. You complain about the best shit. And I'm like, are you watching with me? It was so awesome to see he's got a whole bowl of testicles. Are you really going to try and plan a coup against this crazy fucking maniac who's eating testicles out of a bowl right now? And that is a power move, Chino. How much more of a power move can you think of? Somebody's eating another man's testicles because of betrayal. That's a tasty snack in every language.
Probably is. I just have issues because I always compare it to the anime.
Well, do you have any complaints that are not anime related then? Because I feel like you're the 6.5 star review of the show. Like, I am.
Yeah, pretty much like 6-7 stars. I would give.
All the 1-star reviews are just, this show sucks.
But I don't think it sucks. There's issues again. After I watched it the second time through, I was able to see some good in it and able to realize this is not as bad as I thought at first. Again, another scene.
So you were watching it like hating it, like
at the first time, yes.
Oh wow! Like I am stupid then because this was fantastic.
It's not stupid. Again, you're kind of smarter than me because you took it in as a different show entirely. When I take it in, I more recently watched the anime than you. So again, my mind is still fresh with the anime. So I'm seeing all these episodes. It's like back to back. It's like, okay, so this is the anime, but they're also taking like, okay, different things from the anime, so which is fine. But then there's stuff like they just take straight from the anime. So like, so what are you trying to do? Retell or tell a whole new story? And we don't know until the end what the changes are.
I'm you watching.
Vicious isn't dead.
I'm you watching Impact, where it's like, I'm thinking this shit sucks compared to WWE. But then if you sit there and just watch it for what it is, like, this is awesome. I'm loving this. So we flip-flopped. When I'm watching mainstream shit, I'm just like, oh, this is fine. Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous is fantastic. There's no reason to compare it to Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. Just take it for what it is. That's how I have to live the rest of my life. Because, yes, I thought this was a good show. Maybe people need to forget the anime because, like, I'm just saying for people watching it, because if you're watching it,
I can entirely know.
If you're watching it as somebody that's like you, sitting there going, oh, this was way better in the anime. Oh, this is way better in the anime. Well, no shit. So yes. I wasn't expecting that. And maybe me forgetting the anime enough to only get excited when I saw things that I remembered, like LeFou, like the Red Eye, like Spike getting shot at the end. Like, there's so many little tidbits that I remembered that made it exciting, but it was also a whole new show for me. I don't even remember that episode that you were talking about with the cult leader and all that stuff. Like, I barely remember that. So each episode on its own I thought was really good, and I'm shocked to see the ratings that it gets. I think that if this was a Dave Meltzer match, I mean, this is 4 3/4 stars.
Again, and that's a fair opinion to have. And again, I wouldn't be against it because I could see the good in it now after I watched it the second time over, and just seeing like nitpicking a little bit, but realizing that it's not a bad show. And season 2 hopefully will be better because now they are, even though it irks me a little bit, they're free now to do whatever they want. And they could completely kill the entire show, and just these guys are completely different now since they're all back together. And Spike is still alive, and Vicious is alive but captive by Julia, who's now in charge of the syndicate, who's going to try and go and kill Spike, which that irks me a little bit too, because again, Julia and Spike are supposed to be together.
What do you mean supposed to? Like I said,
they were in love with each other more than like Vicious, who is using Julia.
Were they? They only had one night together. I watched the show. You didn't see it. They were only together for one night. Why did she have to be obsessed with this guy after one night of heavy petting? Like, that's nothing. We got a whole lifetime on the screen right now. From Cinema Blend 4 days ago, how Netflix's Cowboy Bebop improved on the anime with Julia's story, and that's something that I've been saying I agree with. I think that
they improved, like, to actually give us more understand, like, what she's been doing while she's been alive. And
well, no, they improved on making her realistic. Fuck Spike Spiegel. Are you serious? Like, that's how I would feel. You 3 years.
Well, he was on the run, and she understands why
he's on the run. On the run, he's just collecting bounties. He's not on the run.
But he is kind of running from Vicious because he knows that Vicious has the Syndicate, and the Syndicate are going to go after him. So he's constantly on the run.
He's not. Well, then why is he on the same planet as them, like, all the time? Like, he's not on the run. He definitely is collecting bounties, and if you're in this line of work 3 years, you never came across him. Like, it's just, come on. Like, you're not running. You're living a whole nother life. And even if you are on the run from Vicious, don't you want to get your girl? Aren't you in love with her? Netflix's Cowboy Bebop is here, and as many familiar with the original anime know, it's a lot different. The bones of what made the original series great are there, but the live-action adaptation did not set out to create a replica of the acclaimed anime. Changes are made throughout the series, though none so significant as those made to Julia. And maybe that's what makes this show so different in my head, because it feels like in the animated version, Julia's in, like, what, 5 or 6 episodes? Like, really
She's
not.
only on the show for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, she's not on there very often. You kind of get hints of it, even the closing credits with the rose and stuff. You're like, this is leading to something. But it's not really, she's not really a character on the show. So they had to create a whole new character. And if you were going to make a realistic character, this is the only one I think that's real, is that.
But at the same time, again, they what I feel the show didn't do is, again, subtlety is also a big thing that the anime does focus on. Again, they're subtle with Vicious, they're subtle with Julia. Yes, Vicious is barely on the show, but when he's there, again, he's impactful. It's an impact that he makes. Again, everyone fears him. Again, when Faye meets him for the first time, that's a big moment and can scare people like her, seeing that the dude died by Vicious's hand. So again, we get these moments of subtlety, and again, it's subtle where we get the flashbacks. But
it's
again,
not
I think
subtle. It's not subtle. They're just not giving her a character. Like, that's all it really is. Like, we can say that it's subtle, but it's also, we need to have an ending to this show. We've kind of been hinting that there's a lot more to this guy than we're letting on, and now we're doing the big reveal at the very end, and it's great and it makes sense. But also, if we're going to do a show and we want to make it realistic, let's give Julia a little bit of an edge. Let's give her that, hey, why am I just waiting around for this guy who left me here? Hey, why am I watching Vicious get all the power and I'm just sitting here waiting, hoping he doesn't kill me when he gets home? He just shot me in the head because these old fucks told him to. So he clearly doesn't have any love for me. So I need to figure out a way to get this fucking guy back. And dude, she did it. This is a great show. The more I talk about it.
Power Hungry, I don't know if they really, again, the only time we somewhat see her planning or like being this mastermind for where she does try to focus on powers when she talks to Ma before the events happen. But again, that's it. Again, that's the only time we ever like somewhat get a even slice the idea that she wants power, and then she just becomes a power hungry person at the end.
No, it wasn't like she just became like. I think if you,
it seems like she did, at least from my perspective.
To you, Gino,
she's going to be the voice now of.
Have you ever been in love and had your heart broken?
Yes.
See, that's why you don't know. Me and Julia, our hearts have never been broken. Okay, we're strong, and we're gonna do what it takes to stay on top. We don't get hurt. We get even. And Julia's character is fantastic in this show. I know it's not the same as the cartoon, but this is the real world, and Julia would be pissed off that her so-called husband just shot her in the head. She would be pissed that she had sex with Spike Spiegel, and now he's gone. And she hasn't heard from him for 3 years. And she finds out that he's alive when she's like drinking cognac or something, and she breaks the glass. And Vicious doesn't come in and go, "Are you okay?" So there's several things that make this character, it makes so much sense to me. And she finds out Fearless is back. I would be pissed. I would be furious. And then she goes and talks to Lady with a Limp and Gren. And again, and then you learn that she used to work there and she was pretty high up there. Oh, what a great show. I love this show. This was the best show I've ever watched.
It's not as good as the anime. Always remember the anime is just a perfect show.
Anime is a cartoon though. This is live action. This is real. This is a really good show.
That's real.
This is a really good show.
Real. They really did this. This was real events.
So while these two audiences have wildly different opinions depending on how beholden they are to the original material, what many of these mixed reviews agree on is that some aspects of the series that could stand to be fixed and improved for the highly likely and almost inevitable second season of the series. So they're going to do a second season, right? I know it hasn't been announced.
It's obvious.
Well, no, I mean, this is a serious thing. It has not been announced or confirmed by Netflix. So are they still testing the waters? Or are they waiting to see
They're
how much?
seeing that it's going to get enough viewership, enough traction. But I do feel that no matter how badly reviewed it is, they're going to realize that they have something going, and they're going to make season 2.
Oh, so anime nerds will watch it. Like that's just how it is. Like, I watched it.
Yep.
Death Note, I heard was shitty, and I watched it. And I have a very strict rule. If I hear it that it's shitty and it looks shitty, I don't watch it. I've never seen the Ben Affleck Daredevil because it looks terrible. So I've never seen Elektra because it looks terrible. And I watched I watched that Death Note, even though everybody had warned me it's fucking dog shit. Don't watch it. And I watched it because I had to know. So Cowboy Bebop Season 2 signed me up. I even liked Season 1. I had no complaints. Many hurdles to overcome and a high bar to meet for fans of the original anime. But with all that out of the way, here's what we can do for a clean slate in the second season. Use the opportunity to iron out some of the noticeable wrinkles. So much of the complaints from the fans of the original anime can be boiled down to the fact that this live-action version doesn't feel the same Cowboy Bebop before. Oddly enough, this is actually the Netflix series' biggest strength, and I agree with that. Do you think it should be more like the animated series where it's shorter episodes, obviously, so it's a little more fast-paced and a little more goofy, where this feels a lot more serious?
I do feel that the 40 to 50-minute episodes actually are helpful for it to like flesh out these ideas. So again, if you're me like time-wise, I think it's fine. But if you're me like the feeling, which again, this article you're reading is focusing on,
Right?
It does feel different because again, they do put a lot more emphasis on not the characters entirely because they do, but it's more the story of what else is going on with them because they do add other stuff of what could be going on. Like one change I didn't mind since it's added more humanity to him was Lee with Jet Black's daughter.
Yeah, what about?
I didn't mind the idea of that change because like that gave him more humanity, but like they put a lot of more time into like adding that and like him trying to be a father to her and then him realizing that he's not her dad in her eyes anymore.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. It really, because that also helps the last episode where he's like, "Fuck Spike, I lost my daughter. I don't have anything. I just have the bebop." And I think that'll ultimately lead them back to each other, in a lot of ways.
That's the thing. I didn't mind that, but also at the same time, I could see people's opinions be like they put so much time into that instead of other things they could have done for other characters.
You could do that
they
for
everything.
everything.
Which I understand.
Yeah,
and it was fine.
Yeah, I disagree with anyone who complains about that. I think that giving him this family man aspect and showing, and one thing that this article on comicbook.com even says is it's a much less gritty representation of the future, and the bounty hunter cowboy career seems far more glamorous and seemingly fun than a career Spike, Jet, and Faye were forced into because of little options. Like, that's what the anime was, right? Where it was, like, these guys have to be
no
cowboys.
choice.
They have nothing else. Like, even Faye, I swear, I need to rewatch it. I don't think she was a cowboy at the beginning, and I think she just saw Spike and Jet and was like, I'm going to do that too. So, in this one, it seems like everybody wants to be a cowboy. Let's all be cowboys. There's nothing else. Like, there really is no other characters that have jobs other than the police. It's either you're a gangster, a cowboy, or a police officer. There's no in between unless you have that shitty diner with the free cheese bread. The main Bebop crew has had altered characterizations that range from the subtle, such as Spike's Eastern religion philosophies and medicinal techniques being lost in the live-action version, and more noticeable, such as Faye losing the mountain of debt and gambling problems that the original version of the character has. I guess that's true. They really didn't do anything with her gambling problem, because that also helps into why she becomes a cowboy, I think. Is that she's like, you can make this much money by collecting bad guys? I need to do this. Isn't that how it happened? We need to watch the whole cartoon.
Kind of was. We should watch that episode again. That was a good
Let's
episode.
watch the whole cartoon right now. Yeah, whole cartoon. Just fire it up.
It's only 20 episodes. It's easy.
Fire up your Peacock. Is it 20? I thought it was 26.
26, 20, same thing.
Same thing. 3 hours, no biggie. The new Cowboy Bebop emphasizes the fun, inherent base premise of the original, and therefore gets bogged down unnecessarily when it decides to go back and directly adapt to the anime. And I agree, that's so true, where they really want some of these episodes to be fun, but in the anime they are really fun. But on this one, there's a lot, I don't know, just there's a lot more, not grit, there's just a lot more like realistic issues. I guess because it's a cartoon, you can kind of assume everybody's going to be fine, even though somebody does die at the end of it. With this one, it felt like if somebody dies, we are fucked. Like this, there's a very realistic possibility that we can lose anybody here and now.
They could throw a monkey wrench into it, because that was a fear I had. Is like, if they want to keep changing this, they could kill off Jet.
Sure.
Just be like, here, change it up completely. Fuck the fan base.
Even Ed, I thought Ed might have been a character that showed up and got killed off. Like that seemed like maybe something they would do. Is
because they mentioned him only subtly in like 1 or 2 episodes, and we were like, is Radical Ed around since he gets involved, kind of, but we don't see him until the absolute.
She gets involved. Let's not.
No, again, we are told that Ed is a man. He's a giant, and also Ed is a kid too. He's a man. He's one we don't know, and even the father says it's my son or daughter.
We know Ed's a lady. You're gonna be one of these people now that are telling me it's
Ed
not.
Could be either.
We have another non-binary character in the universe.
And Ed is fine to be non-binary because Ed is crazy.
Ed's a lady, and you will treat her as such. Okay, you will show her respect. She's wearing short booty shorts. Okay, you think men dress like that, Chino? We don't.
At a young age, yeah, probably.
No, what?
They're like really young. They're like really young.
Are you walking around in booty shorts all the time?
I'm not young anymore.
When you were 9, did you rock booty shorts?
I could have.
And she was a teenager, so she's not that young.
Yeah, but not too young again.
And this is 1999. This is when Michael Jordan was wearing shorts to his shins. So let's not pretend like everybody's got their Larry Bird shorts on.
They might have. Again, we don't know.
No, not they might have, Gino. I hate when you do that. They might have. You just say it really quick.
We just don't know. We don't know. We don't.
No, we do. Stop saying we don't know. I was alive back then. You were also alive. Nobody dressed like that if they were a man. We all know it. Don't say, again, we don't. Yes, we do. We know, Gino, that's a lady. That's why it was funny that her name was Edward. Were you paying attention?
Yes, I was paying attention. But again, I also was paying more attention because, again, they never directly said Ed was a man or woman. There were times when she said her and woman, but also they said he. So
you're living in this world where you need pronouns next to somebody's name. Like that's the world that you're in.
Edward has had both. That's the Edward is both.
Edward is both what?
Both pronouns, because they do say like Edward's a guy in that one episode where we learn about Edward.
Yeah, because they think it's a guy because the name is Edward. Then they meet her and they're like, oh, it's a lady named Edward. This is a funny thing that the show's doing. It's 1999,
and Edward's also an 8.
We don't know. We don't know what non-binary even is in 1999. Too few and far between. When the series is firing on all cylinders, there is palpable energy and breezy dynamic between John Cho, Daniela Pineda, and Mustafa Shakur. It's a shame that the binging model of streaming means every episode needs to tie into each other, but the second season should choose to have these individuals. I agree with that 100%. The best part of the cartoon is that you can kind of just come in and out. Even if you miss an episode, you don't really miss much. The fact that it's on Netflix and we're going to watch 10 hours at a time, every episode needs to correlate with each other, which I think is different for Cowboy Bebop. That was one of the fun parts, was that it was, hey, a new bounty, go get the bounty. Oh, we didn't get him. End of the episode. That was fun. But I think that would help out tremendously, because this was episode 1 had to tie into 2 to 3. You brought up how Vicious and Julia were barely even in the cartoon. Here they are in this series, they're main characters. So maybe having that
everywhere. Just to fill time.
Yeah, and maybe not even just, I wouldn't say to fill time.
Partly, I was like, you have to have something here. Like, they're like, we can't just end it. We need to have something. I thought. And sometimes they're like, we just have to have Vicious talk to the Syndicate, and then we get that ending scene where he dances with Julie.
You just hated this thing.
I did. I disliked it to a point, but I understand. I like it and can see the hopefulness in season 2.
Yeah, you hated this thing. Like, that's what I've learned from this. Like, because
hate.
No, it's hate. You should listen to yourself. I hope you listen back to this, because everything you say, like, look, I didn't hate it, but this could have been done way better. This was wrong. I really prefer this.
It will be better.
Like,
I hope it's going to be better season 2.
No, just watch season. I think season 1 is good. I think that if you don't directly compare, like, listen to what you just said. To fill time, they added Julia to the show. Like, no,
the story, which
Yeah, like I don't think
to be there.
I don't need to be there. See, like you hate watch this thing.
Could be like the end.
Chino, if you had a job, you did not need to hate watch this thing 2 times through. All right, how's the job search coming along?
It's coming.
What do you mean it's coming? Did you apply to that LA Fitness job?
I have not applied to places yet. I'm looking for remote jobs first. See if I could get a remote job to make it a little bit easier first.
There you go. What kind of remote work you looking for?
I'm thinking, against, even though I'm talking for right now 5 times a day, like 5 days a week, I'm thinking call center wouldn't be bad.
Talking 5 days a week. You've been doing that for what? 1 week now, Gino? What are we doing?
Yeah,
here?
1 week now. I don't mind doing this every week. That's the thing. I've done it 2 days a week.
You've done it 1 week, and you're like,
months now.
oh man, I'm so
It's gonna
busy.
be what I'm gonna do regularly. You know, I wouldn't mind talking even more 5 days.
I'm
do
so
10 times.
I'm so busy. I just I've been talking 5 days a week. I don't know if I can do the call center gig.
Maybe I'll do it 10 times. That's it. I might do it 10 times.
Yeah, Gino. Well, hey, I'm not going live Thursday. Is there going to be a Gino stream or what?
I don't know if I will be a Gino stream. I forgot you're not gonna be live Thursday.
Yeah, no Thursday. I went last night. With Kevin Be Cool. I didn't get to hear when you jumped on. How was it last night on Raw's 4th Hour?
I thought it was good. At least I feel it was. But we're gonna see how tomorrow goes well when you and me and him on TWFS.
Oh, are you joining us again? Did he invite you?
Yeah, why not? Why would
Are you just showing up now? Is that the new thing? Is like if
I think
show
that's
up,
my thing. I'm just gonna join in.
Yeah, if he calls on me, I'll be ready to present my project to the class. Because yes, I mean Mondays he texted me, said Tyler's out, can you do it? I was like, no, I don't feel well, and then like 10 minutes later I said, let's do it, and then I did it. And then tomorrow night we're going again. So I'm 3 nights a week. So yeah, it's either going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fridays are a little rough, but that's why you're there, Gino. I loved hearing Kevin talk about not wrestling things, and then you would kind of bring up Kurt Angle or something. You would always try and swing it back around to something not really what Kevin was talking about, but you needed to talk about wrestling. You know, like that's Gino's specialty.
Again, my specialty is like redirect the conversation to how it should be.
It should be. Oh, you're the director now.
It should be the focus.
You're the director of SmackDown's 3rd Hour. I hope that's on your resume when you apply for your job at Home Depot. I am the director and producer of SmackDown's 3rd Hour. The conversation should be about Kurt Angle, even though he was not on the show tonight.
He was involved in recent events in wrestling, thanks to his podcast.
Yeah,
he's always around.
Do you listen to his podcast? Where are you at on your podcast game right now?
I'm a little bit behind on Kurt Angle's one, but I'm listening to My World because I really am interested more and more about TNA.
That's what I said last night. I want to listen to the TNA stuff, but I hate the way Jeff Jarrett tells stories. He's not very good at it. And I forget that wrestlers aren't who they are in the ring sometimes. So when you tell me Jeff Jarrett's doing a podcast, I'm ready for slap nuts. I'm ready for choke on that. You know, like, hey, I showed up in Dallas tonight to kick some ass. I didn't know I was looking at a couple of pussies. I'm like, this guy rules. Now it's, 100% Conrad. I really like working with Scott Hall. He's really good wrestler, good friend of mine. I love Scotty. But Scotty was Scotty, and Scotty got in Scotty's way. And it's like the stories he tells, he's like me. He doesn't know where he's going. Right now, I don't know where I'm going. He doesn't know where he's going. I gave up on My World. Something to Wrestle With has been dead. I listen to no wrestling podcast anymore. Like, it's me and Kevin. That's the only one. I love listening to you and Kevin. But either way, like Steven Larson, they're dead. I stopped listening to them. That was a whole month of my life I'll never get back to.
Split Master Sexy says Jarrett and Angle is 5 times worse than Matt and Edge.
Oh, is there a Matt and Edge podcast? That sounds awesome.
Matt and Edge? I don't know. Like, you're talking about the ENC's podcast and Matt Cardona?
I listened to one ENC episode of the Randy Orton. It was awesome. I really enjoyed
that. That was good.
Randy Orton's interview was actually very, very good. Kurt Angle interviewing Randy Orton was not very good. That's the episode that made me stop listening to that show. I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I've been listening to a little Chris Van Vliet. I like Chris Van Vliet. He means the real life shit. He means the Karen Jarrett and Kurt Angle and 5 times worse than Matt and Edge. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, Angle has kids with Karen. Can you imagine if Matt and Lita had children, Gino? That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, that would have been heartbreaking even more than the actual story we got, especially when we had that whole bite this episode with Lita airing out the grievances she had.
Bite This
Bite
was
This
awesome.
was such a fucking big show that I loved.
Yeah, well, it wasn't big, but I loved it like you.
I
yeah.
loved, like, there's the Steve Austin one, which he again talked about his creative and all the issues he had with, which was
Yeah,
really
but
good.
just because it's a big one doesn't like it really wasn't
very
watched.
important ones that should have been watched more.
No, well, I like. It's weird when you say things like that. Like it should have been that. Like in the chat the other night, you were talking about more people should talk about the foundation, and I just had to write why.
Yes.
Like why? Why should we? Like obviously they're not that good because you don't have to tell me that we should talk about Roman Reigns. We're all talking about him. You don't have to tell me we should talk about CM Punk. We're all talking about him. But when people are like, oh, everyone should be talking about the foundation should make us talk about them, but they don't do enough to make us do that.
And they do.
No, they do. No, they don't.
Jonathan Gresham does.
They don't do that. They don't do enough. Like we watch good wrestling. We watch stuff that's exciting. And if that was exciting, we'd all
You really don't think Jonathan Gresham's a good wrestler. You just don't like Jonathan Gresham.
I don't, but I don't like Ring of Honor that much. That's the other thing is I think that Ring of Honor's dead, and I think that
It's not till this Saturday.
Oh no, but it's still dead though in the whole framework of
It's
wrestling.
dying until Final Battle. It's
OGK was at NWA. Like everyone's moving on. It's time to go. And yeah, Ring of Honor having Final Battle. That's fun. That's exciting. I think having Jonathan Gresham as the last champion is kind of a bummer.
So you think he's gonna win, not Bandito?
Yeah, I think that. Well, honestly, who gives a fuck? But I would just let Jonathan Gresham win because he was the pure champion for that whole time. So maybe just make that belt matter a little bit by having the pure champion won the big title on the way out, and maybe the company does come back. Maybe it comes back in April and they get it sorted out and they start doing house shows or whatever their new plan is that they mentioned. But
you could be there since they'll probably be in Dallas.
No,
everywhere's gonna be there.
They're a Baltimore company. They're always on the East Coast. I've never been around a Ring of Honor show. Like they don't go to where I'm at. They make sure that they stay East Coast, Northern.
I think for Mania Week they will though. You don't think they're just gonna come back for Mania Week and be like, "Here's our first show." They're gonna be right there and
where
Texas.
Though? Well, how? Well, and how? Like even you were saying GCW is gonna be around the Dallas area. Like what day? Like because
and I told you days. Like I'll even give you the tweet. It's in the
no, but like what days of the week? What days of the week? Like is that are they gonna
message you that?
No, you just said the numbers. I don't want the numbers. I want is it going to be a Friday? Because that's SmackDown. Is it going to be?
Might be.
Is that a Saturday? That's WrestleMania. Is that a Sunday? That's WrestleMania.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't know if I'd even want to go to a GCW show. Like it just doesn't look. It doesn't look like a show that I would have a good time at if I was there for 3 hours. It's fun to be able to watch it and skip through, but I don't know if I would like to pay $40 to go to a GCW show and be ground level and maybe picking up my son so we could see some of it. Maybe not even taking my son, but
that's because you don't want him to see the extreme.
Yeah, we would have probably left after Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, so the 31st is Thursday, so it's from the 31st to the 2nd. They're going to be in the Fair Park in Dallas.
In the most ghetto area of Dallas is where GCW is running their shows, yes. Which is fine. I mean, it's really far from Mania, by the way. That's pretty far away from Arlington. That's about an hour drive. So if you go to any of these GCW things, you're not going to Mania. And hey, if you're a GCW fan, why would you want to go to Mania? Like for you, this is like, my WrestleMania is right here. Is that going to be the Acid Cup? Wasn't that what it was last time?
They had the Acid Cup and other events. It's they call it the Collective. It's a collection of events that they do for those 3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Effie's Big Gay Brunch is going to be there and all the great events they do.
Yeah, great
events. Spring Break.
Great. Did you say they were great events?
There's some that are good. Like Georgia Spring Break is always good.
So
it's
yeah,
good event.
No, I have no interest in going to GCW. I Hard to Kill. I'm looking at still. The tickets are like you can get a front row seat for like $60. I might go to Hard to Kill for that. And then
especially with the new match they just added, which is going to be great.
WrestleMania, not sure about yet. It's just expensive, and you don't really know. And it's kind of nice to be able to. If Kevin's listening, there's no table nachos if I go live. Like it's kind of easier if I can just watch it at home, even if it's in Dallas. But then it almost feels like why would I not go to WrestleMania if it's here? But Raw's going to be in Dallas, I bet, the next night. SmackDown's probably going to be in Fort Worth the night before WrestleMania. So there's going to be a lot of wrestling that weekend, obviously. I'm sure that SWE is doing something. But I don't think maybe Ring of Honor comes back. But again, are you going to try and compete with SmackDown, WrestleMania, and Raw? Like, you're going to have to run a Thursday. And yeah, you're going to have to run a Thursday. And some of us have work, Gino.
Some people do, but also some people might call off the entire week to be like, you know what, this is the week that I'm going to save up these sick days, these sick hours.
Sick days? See, Gino.
I remember having 6 days and hours. They were both different for my job and vacation time.
You immediately go to sick days. You don't want to take vacation. You're like, I better fucking pretend that I'm sick so I can go to wrestling.
You don't have to pretend normally. If it's a good enough job where they don't care, they're like, okay, you're fine.
Gino, this is why you're not working, my friend. You got to understand these sick days are for when you're sick, all right? They're emergency days. So you're going to get back into that workforce. You're looking for remote work. Did you already look on Indeed? I showed you Indeed, remember?
I'm going to get back on Indeed. I do have my Indeed account. I have my resume updated to my most recent job, so I'm going to be going and looking.
What do you do? So you have like Chipotle on there and stuff? I would almost say don't.
I might remove that.
I would say just take a bunch of those jobs off of there. If you're trying to get a remote phone job, they're not going to want to know that you worked at Walgreens.
They might not, and that might not help me too much, but at least having a work experience might help to an extent for them to be like, okay, so you have worked before.
They will say like, yeah, what have you been doing these past couple of years? But you can, you can just claim disability or something because I just can't imagine. Oh yeah, I worked at Chipotle and I worked at Walgreens, and then they're gonna be
like the last time when I worked at I worked at Goodwill was then during COVID, so I could say it was because of that, and I've not been wanting to join the workforce for
COVID. I just didn't want. Yeah,
I was dying.
Card member assistance, remote work. That's in Utah though. 1 star data entry. You can do data entry.
I probably could, yeah. I'll look again. I'm going to look at Indeed, and I'm going to apply at a place that I can do remote work entry level in Georgia.
In Georgia, dude, this is great. You know, I'm excited for you. It's you got to be a productive member of society. As much as fun as it is to stay at home and watch Cowboy Bebop many times all day, you got to get back out there. Don't you want to have a family in your own house and stuff?
Eventually, maybe, but again, right now, I don't know what I want, man. I'm not entirely sure.
How did you get here? That's also something I've been meaning to ask you. Like, how did you get to I know you had the incident where you, what was it, Missouri or Kansas?
It was Kansas.
Yeah. So when you were in Kansas, you were like, that was where your life was supposed to begin, and it didn't. And then you moved back home. And what happened? Did you just kind of stop? I know you don't believe in anything. Did you just kind of stop trying?
Stop trying to get out of here. Yeah, I just realized, you know what, getting at least help from family, so at least I have some people that actually do care to support me and actually are going to be here and not just kick me out entirely.
And there's been no pressure from them to like, hey, maybe go out and get a job.
Like help, like wanting to support me to get a job, but also understanding like with how the world is right now, again with both
with COVID,
the virus, and with people like they understand why I might be having second thoughts of going fully out there publicly every day to go and get an application in and ask, hey, are you hiring?
What do you mean with people? What did that part mean?
Like just going out into like the public world again, like just in case of, again, I always am like a paranoid kind of person too.
Well, sure. I mean, there's a lot to be worried about. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. That life is supposed to be a challenge. So I know that a lot of people fall back on that. I'm not trying to compare anyone's paranoia or mental health or whatever. Even Chris Benoit, I think there were some issues there that he could have worked out. You know, he's not completely a piece of shit, okay? Did he kill his kid? Yes, that's awful, but he needed help, and nobody wanted to help him, and he didn't ask for help. You're asking for help, and that's good. So I think that, I mean, obviously, there's such a difference, because I too suffer from paranoia. I too suffer from mental health issues. I am bipolar, but you have to embrace the positives of I swear, I know that I make jokes about listening to Chris Van Vliet, but it really does. Like, you look at him, and he's a guy who started a fishing company for whatever reason, and now he gets to interview whoever he wants. He has these great conversations, and everything he does is he's just a brand now. And you look at what he did, it's not like he started with this golden spoon in his mouth. He had to work for what he got. And I think that a lot of people, when they let paranoia win, when they let anxiety win, you don't get to live life to the fullest. You get to watch Twitch all day and tell me about Brandon, what's his name? Brandon Williams?
Brandon Williams.
Yes,
And
Brandon Williams, and he's awesome. And T-Bar had a good match on Raw that nobody liked. So,
which is true.
I'm just saying, like, I think that you even though you have issues, paranoia, whatever you have something. You got to get out and you got to do something. You have life. You got to use it, Gino. You got to squeeze as much as you can out of it, because otherwise you're just wasting it away. Like, one day that basement's not going to be there for you anymore.
Yeah, I know. And again, one day my last breath will come, and that's when, at least the first time I die, and then the last is going to be when people stop thinking of me.
See, look how depressing that is, Gino. So why don't you
That's how life is.
tomorrow get that job, my friend? Go out there, apply for a bunch of shit. Get up early. Go upstairs, have some coffee, help with some of the chores, apply for some jobs, and just fucking live. Don't even watch anything. Don't even watch YouTube while you're taking a shit. Just fucking wake up and just work all day.
Let's see how today goes.
No, you can do
I
it.
just-
Just say, yes, I'm going to do it. Don't say, we'll see. Just say, I got it. Just say, Roger Dodger.
Again, like, I don't like to make promises I can't keep.
You can, though. That's what I'm saying. Gino, you can keep this one. Roger Dodger, just say it. Why can't you keep this promise? I'm not asking for much.
One thing is, like, I don't know when I'll actually wake up, because my whole thing is, like, my body doesn't wake me up normally.
Sure,
Sometimes.
that's fine.
I also even have dealt with, like, sleep paralysis in the past couple nights.
Well, just once you wake up, don't turn on the screens. Get up, go have some coffee, go say hello to everybody who's up there. Help with the chores, Gino. I'm not forgetting that part. Don't watch any YouTube. Don't watch any GCW. Don't watch FA's birthday breakfast. Just start working. Get in there and grind. You know what I'm saying?
I do, man. I got you.
Can you make a song? Do you want to make a rap song tomorrow?
I don't know about that.
That'd be awesome. If you can get me a new JT song for TWFS, that would be awesome. If you can get that Deanna Parazzo cut done by you this time. and not
TWFS
JT.
says you had sleep paralysis 3 times.
Gino, did you have sleep paralysis 3 times?
I've had it now. Like, I've had sleep paralysis a total of, I think, just this year, about 6.
What is
nights I've
sleep
had,
paralysis?
sleep paralysis.
What is that? I don't even know what
It's
that is.
when you're, like, stuck in between waking up and asleep. So, like, your body, or it's night terror. Night terror, so that's sleep paralysis. I do always, like, kind of mix the two up in a sense. But, like, it's where you're in between the two, and your body and mind won't fully have you awake. So, like, you're stuck in, like, kind of a dream
It's
state.
a sleep disorder causing feelings of panic or dread, typically occurring during the first hours, stage 3-4 non-rapid eye movement sleeping. 1 to 10 minutes. It can last longer. What is this, Gino? You have this? How did you get it?
I've dealt with it before. I think a big thing that caused that is stress and worry. Again, like, I've been able to control it somewhat, but again, recently I had to deal with it again.
Gino, there's people born without legs. What do you got to worry about?
I know there's people worse.
Do you
off
have
than
legs?
really
I'm
are.
sorry, that was insensitive. You have legs, right?
Yes, I do have legs.
Okay. Oh, thank God. Do you have arms?
Yes.
All
I
right,
do
cool.
have arms.
Oh my gosh, I was worried. I was like, did I just say something really insensitive? I did not know Gino was legless. Like, you have legs, thank goodness. That's one win for Gino. See, you're already stacking dubs, dude. That's what we say at work, stacking dubs.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, stack
Good
some
way of
dubs,
saying
Gino.
yes,
Just
yes.
live your life to the fullest, all right? What's wrong with that? So sleep paralysis means you're in this weird, I'm even reading it. It's like terrifying. But you don't know why you have it?
I would assume it's because of stress, or just, again, because I messed up both my sleep schedules already, and when there's some nights when I just feel it's hard to sleep or I can't sleep, and then sometimes I do eventually fall asleep, but then sometimes I'm stuck.
Is that like
But I
sleepwalking? Some people have sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking, I don't know if that would be considered, like, in the same vein, but it could be.
It's what it says on
considered, like,
Wikipedia.org. You think somebody's lying to
it's
me?
a good comparison. No, I think they're right. They might be right. That's a
Think
good
they're
comparison.
lying? Well, if you're sleep paralyzed, you're in that psychosis between being awake and being asleep. That's what sleepwalking is. It's
Yes, it is.
you're moving and you're standing, and those functions of your brain are active. Meanwhile, your mental state is still sleeping. You're not, like, when you wake somebody sleepwalking, they freak out. I know Step Brothers is just a movie, but it's very true, Gino.
Yep. That scene was very true.
Did you know that it occurs more in males than in females?
It does make sense.
So if you get a sex change, it'll stop happening.
Yes, I could just get on hormones.
Get on some hormones, Gino. What's wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. Normalize
Quigley
it.
says your sleep schedule is messed up because you have no schedule because you work.
That's a good point, Gino. Maybe if you started giving yourself your own itinerary, it would actually help you develop a better sleep schedule. Maybe every night at 1 a.m. It's screens off, lights off, sleep. And that way, then you set your alarm. Like, I don't know what you always say, my body doesn't wake me up. I don't know what that means. Just set an alarm, wake up at a certain time, get up, have a cup of coffee, go for a walk, say hello to everybody in your house. How often do you say hello to everybody?
Normally, the only person in my house when I'm awake is my little brother who's getting ready for school. So I do that pretty much every day recently. I will try to at least.
What time do your
Before he has
parents
to go.
leave?
They leave around like 4 or 5 o'clock.
What are they, hospitalists? Why are they getting up so early?
My mom's a teacher and she has to go pretty far to work, and my stepdad also has to go pretty far to work.
Where does he work at? I remember you couldn't tell me last time.
I forgot exactly where it was. I don't ask him. I don't ask people about their shit because they don't want to talk about work all the time.
Gino, that's such a silly way to live. Like, people are okay taking 10 seconds to tell you about who they are and what they're doing. Like, it's not, oh, well, you don't want to talk about work, clearly. Let's talk. What else do you guys talk about? What's his favorite basketball team?
We've talked about wrestling, but his favorite basketball team is the Lakers.
Who's his favorite wrestler?
Currently, I don't know, actually. We don't talk about, like, favorites. We just talk about, like, what's going on in wrestling since.
What is going on? What does he think about Ring of Honor?
He doesn't really care since he kind of was surprised it was still going on in the first place.
What are you guys talking about then, Gino? What is it? Give me an opinion. What did he talk about today?
We haven't talked much today. Just me and my little brother have talked today because I was kind of having a bit of a headache today, so I was like sleeping quite a bit more today.
Oh, Gino, I feel bad, man.
Yeah,
You're just missing life down there. You look pale.
Yeah.
Look how pale you look. Did you go outside today?
Well, I look pale because I have fucking lights too. Like, I have so many more lights now. I have my phone pushed right onto me, plus this fucking ring light, just to try and get this to work better.
Hell
So
yeah,
again, I
Gino.
look pale because there's more light.
But are you pale?
Okay.
So you're telling me you're actually tanned as fuck, right?
I'm more tan than pale, yes.
All right, I'm going to trust you on that one, my friend. Were you outside today? What'd you do outside?
I was not outside today.
What? You
I
didn't
need
go
that
outside
vitamin
once?
C. Not today, no.
See, that's why you have a headache. Vitamin D is important, Gino. You got to get out and get some
Yeah,
sun. That's the other
I
thing.
do.
It's easier to stay inside and be depressed. You got to get outside and get some sun. You have to do it. That's the
Sure.
thing. And I understand, like, oh, well, I have anxiety, I have this. But like I'm saying, Gino, 20 years from now, you don't want to be in the same scenario. We got to get you out of there. Wrestling is awesome, but it's not getting you out of there. Unless you do some sort of awesome wrestling show with Steven Larson.
Who knows if maybe one day this is what that will become.
No, you are going to become that. My life, it's passed me by, Gino. It's all left me. You need to be Steven Larson. Like that, you need to do that.
And maybe I will. That's the thing. I'm hopefully with me getting used to talking for these like 5 days a week and then continuing on consistently the best I can. We'll see.
How often do you listen back to when you're on with me or on with Kevin?
I hate my voice, I've realized, even though I know a lot of people like my voice. I'm getting used to speaking more because I'm used to communicating with others like one-on-one.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't like listening back to my own voice because I always I think it's too high-pitched, even though I feel it's low.
High-pitched?
I
Wait.
feel it's high when I know it's low.
And
Like,
you
I
also
hear-
said you're used to communicating one-on-one. Who are you talking to one-on-one more than you're talking
there
to all
are
of us?
people I communicate and privately discuss things with.
Like verbally though.
Yes.
Who? Where? What is this happening? You're with us all the time.
Just people in private that I would like to keep private.
What, like a banker? They talk to a banker in private? What?
No, I talk with people who I know personally that I keep stuff between me and them private.
Okay, so it's not like, it's, wow. Okay, so it's not, but it's not like it's not one of us, is it? You're not talking to Quigley
No.
on the side, right?
No, not like that. No.
Well, why'd you
Nobody
laugh?
in
What's
this
wrong with Quigley? You got a problem with Quigley?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying I communicate privately about things like this with people in the community.
Is it Valpaca? What's going on here? Why are you being
it's
so?
a different community that nobody here knows.
You
about
like
that
to
I-
have your separate community that you won't tell me about. You have your squared
Yes.
circle Reddit group where you get all you say your opinions and people go.
TWFS says, do you take advantage of suicidal and vulnerable females?
Do you do that, Chino? Is that what you're doing? Is that who you're talking to?
Not people who are suicidal or vulnerable, no.
But females.
Yes.
Hell yeah. So Quigley says that he's asking, is there a secret community? Who is in this community? Is it Gilbert Medina? Is it Jordo? I haven't talked to Jordo in a while. Are you and him like secretly plotting to take over the whole fucking show?
Oh, it's nobody in this community. Like I said, it's a completely secret. Again, somewhat secret because again, it's personal to me.
Okay.
Again, it's something that I keep
You
to
don't.
myself.
So let me clear this up. So you don't want us to go in there and like ruin it for you, right? Like that's the thing is you don't want us to jump into T-Bar's chat and like really fuck up like your relationship with T-Bar, right?
My possible relationships with other people, yes. That
Yes,
people
okay.
could, yes.
'Cause
Not
I
wrestling related, but some might be wrestling related, but might not.
It might not be, but also that's definitely like I know that's what you mean. Like you talk to T-Bar, you talk to Mace. You don't want us to talk to Mace and T-Bar. Like we know. Otherwise, Mace would have been in the chat going, "The fuck, Gino? I didn't know you." He probably doesn't even call you Gino.
He does.
Okay, good. I was like, "Jeez, he probably does." He's like a whole new alias.
Even
Campbell,
though his wife and only one or two other people actually know my real name.
are we the secret?
Maybe. I wouldn't know if like I could see this as secret because I do discuss like that I do podcasts with these people I talk with in private. So that's why.
Wait, so you have another podcast already?
No, you guys, this podcast
okay.
that I'm on.
I was going to say, you're on another podcast where you're talking about the others. So were the others somewhere else?
To them, yes, you're another group of others, but they are also a group of others.
When you're in Steven Larson's chat, are you just running us down like a motherfucker? Are you like, Vleeties?
No, I'm not in any
Vleeties really like Raw tonight. What a faggot. Like, is that what you're saying in their chat? Like you don't
No,
act like that here. But when you go to Steven Larson's, you're like, oh, fucking piece of shit.
I'm not in any of those types of Discords where
They do Twitch streams while you're at home. So I know that you're for sure like, oh, Steven Larson went live. Let me check it out.
I don't watch their fucking Twitch streams.
I'm just saying, I know it. I just say it all fits together. Are you in Renee Paquette's stream? What the fuck? Like, fucking Vleeties.
She doesn't stream. She only like premieres her fucking videos.
Vleeties like Raw. What a fucking piece of shit. Nobody likes Raw. Is that what you said?
No.
What'd you think of Raw
People
last
like
night?
Raw. I didn't mind Raw. Raw was okay.
I think it was the best Raw of the year. What do you think?
Of the year, probably not. I think the Raw before Mania.
Did you hear me tell Kevin about T-Bar's match where the fans were just sitting on their fucking hands like a bunch of assholes?
That annoys me that people don't understand how good T-Bar
Yeah,
is.
people
They don't know Dijak.
Yeah, people should be talking about T-Bar, huh? They should.
Yes, people should be watching more T-Bar.
What should they be doing? Watching T-Bar or the Foundation?
Listen, because ROH is sadly about to die this Saturday, I would have to say T-Bar matches.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to be ridiculous. When you're in your other
Foundation, you should watch, but again, they don't have to because they're about to be gone and no longer a group.
When you're in your other friends' chat, do you pretend to go the other way? Like, are you? No, I love Ring of Honor.
No. Again, the people that I talk to is normally not entirely about wrestling.
Yeah, but when it is about wrestling, Gino, what else do you guys talk about? Anime? What's
There's other stuff that you don't know about myself that I'd like to keep track.
What does that mean? I love this. I love this game.
Yes,
though. Are you like a secret football fan or something where you pretend like, oh, I forgot. I kind of like the Falcons, I guess, but I don't really remember. So,
I really don't keep up with football.
That's what you tell me, but then you go talk to Dijak and you guys are fucking yucking it up about football all night. That's all it is.
I mean, I haven't talked about football with them though. I had to think about it to make sure.
I like how literal you took that. Like, oh well, didn't Dio play football? You never you never yuck it up.
I don't talk
football?
about like his football career. Again, when I like talk about like his work, I've talked about like his again him in wrestling. Again, a topic that I discussed with him was again how much his character, as he portrayed himself both in NXT and just in wrestling, has affected him, and how much like of himself is that character. And if it's really affected his life, like him being more the character than he was at first. Like if it's actually became more of himself.
You are a fascinating figure, Gino. We will keep
Yes.
peeling back this onion. I like how Kevin put it in the chat, or Quigley put it. You can't let the assholes find out about your real friends. I kind of agree with that, where we're not allowed to know this other Gino that's out there. But that's okay. Hey, it's your life. This is just the internet. We all put ourselves out there. We're able to be who we want to be, okay? If we want to be an alias of Brad Pitt, we can do that. Have a little doppelganger up. Nobody even knows. Our avatar is Bradley Pitt. Do you ever think he went by Bradley when he was younger? Bradley Pitt?
I have no idea, but since you're bringing up like that and the idea like avatars and all that, have you seen like these, like how advanced deep fakes are now in 2021?
Talking about
And
Bradley.
how, like, in people.
Talking about Bradley Pitt,
I'm saying, like, again, there is like
what's a deep
really
fake?
when there's like videos and stuff where you actually are using a artificial intelligence that can actually replace the image of a person's face that is making movements within that person's face. There's like really in-depth ones. Like there's this whole TikTok where a guy who is not Tom Cruise used an entire like deep fake of himself being Tom Cruise. Like it's Tom Cruise saying all this, doing this, he's playing golf. But again, the guy is not Tom Cruise.
Gino, this is for the Gino show. When are you going to host it so you can say that to me and then I go, fascinating stuff. Like I want to co-host the Gino show. I don't want to drive. I'll let you drive the entire time. And when you bring up deep fakes, I'll go, yeah, that would be great. They probably use it in porn, I bet, right? That's got to be a porno thing by now. That sounds like it's tailor-made for porn.
And it pretty much is, I believe.
Is it really?
Deepfakes are all over the place. Yeah, you're this is 2021. You don't know much about deepfakes.
What's a good one, Gino? I'm not on this fucking computer looking at shit that much. Okay, I'm looking at
look up deepfakes.
I'm looking at hospitals to call who might need doctors. All right, I don't have time to look up what a deepfake is. What's a good porno deepfake?
Well, you could probably look it up. No problem. It'll come up in no time.
I'm on
celebrities.
I'm on DuckDuckGo. You think that's a good place to find it? Should we go to Pornhub?
You could go there too. You could go anywhere, and you'll find deepfakes. Some good, some obviously bad, depending on how much time they put into.
We'll have to check that out later on tonight. What else you got, Gino, on the Gino show?
I don't know what I'm gonna be doing tonight, man, or next couple nights.
No, right now,
test this out.
Right now. Do a new topic. What do you got? That was interesting about the deep fakes. I'd never heard. I didn't know it was called that. I mean, I've seen people put faces on other people, and I've seen them move, but I didn't know it was called a deep fake. I love that. That sounds very, very Reddit. So, what else is going on in the world of the internet? I'm not familiar.
Not too much that I can think of off the top of my head, man. Because again, I was pretty much prepared for us in our nice deep discussion about Cowboy Bebop, the live action man.
We did talk a little Cowboy Bebop. Did you see the deep fake of John Cho where he's banging that dog?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a deep fake of John Cho.
Yeah, that's changing the game right here. What do you think, Gino, as far as other aspirations? You talk about the podcast. Like Thursday is wide open. You said you're not going to go live. You're not sure, right?
Yes, because I'm, again, testing some stuff out. Because, again, thankfully, this does seem, at least from what I'm seeing from your perspective and on the camera, it seems like this works the way I'm doing the lighting. Even though, again, I have the ring light right here. I have my phones just blazing right onto me to try and project light back there. So it does seem like this is working. So I might be using this way of doing it for me to stream. Have me go live, hopefully Thursday.
Hell yeah. Go live.
Keep it consistent.
Go live Thursday. Yeah, 5 nights a week of Gino. You went from sending us clips of Renee Paquette from Sammy Guevara to just sitting there and watching us talk. And then we throw to you once in a while and see what you're thinking about, what we're thinking about. So what happened on the latest Renee Paquette? Was that today?
It was yesterday with Eric Bischoff.
Oh, is that where he said Tony Khan won't text him back?
Yep.
Fascinating stuff, Gino. What else happened? Any other highlights?
Not that I can remember. Again, I haven't actually watched the one with Eric Bischoff yet.
Oh, you haven't even seen it? Oh, I'm going to watch it first.
Hell yeah, why not? I mean, Kevin probably did too, but who knows?
No, Kevin didn't watch that. If he did, he didn't watch the whole thing, because why would he? Thank you so much, Gino. What an amazing time tonight. It's time to ride off into that glorious, glorious sunset. You knew we couldn't talk forever as much as we all wanted to. Eventually, we all ride off into that sunset. Like you said earlier, eventually we all die, all right? And then everyone forgets about us, and life is a meaningless pile of dog shit. Like, why even try? Like, we're all going to be dead in 50 years anyway. There's no such thing as leaving a legacy. There's no such thing as bringing other people, other lives into this world with your ideologies and trying to pass down something. None of it matters, right?
More or less, that's true. Again, we die only twice. Again, once.
Gino,
when
I've never
our
said
last
anything
breath
more
comes.
untrue in my life. And you said, again, that's true. Like, no, first of all, again, no, it's not. No, again.
Yes.
And also, that's not true at all. You have a legacy. I'm leaving a legacy behind every day when I'm talking to my son, when I'm out here in this, when I'm doing this. Like, constantly, legacy, forever. Make an impact. Come on, Gino. Not again. There is no, this all matters. Wrestling matters. Listen to Bobby Roode.
Yes, wrestling matters, just like Kurt Angle was all about, because it was getting taken out from the Olympics, but thankfully it's still in the
That was different. That was Save Wrestling 2020. I'm talking about Wrestling Matters. Bobby Roode, when he was a kid watching wrestling, and it mattered. Gino.
I thought that also was Wrestling Matters.
No, it
Why
wasn't.
Wrestling
Watch,
Matters?
get Impact in Ultimate Insiders, and then realize that none of the Spike TV shit's on there anyway, and it's useless. And then, Gino, it all matters, okay? Everything matters. You're making an impact every day, all right? It's not we die twice. This isn't Coco. We don't just die and then people forget about us. And if you're worried about people forgetting about you, leave a legacy. Have an ofrenda. Put your family, build that family tree. Stack it. Be proud of who you are. My grandfather, Ralph Van Vliet, has been dead since the year like 2000. So, and we haven't forgotten about him, and my son's not going to forget about him because he's named Ralph. Boom. Look at this, Gino. Legacy. Don't you want to have a son and name him Gino?
Maybe one day, but not today.
I said all that shit, and you said maybe one day, but not today.
Yeah.
See,
I got a nice short response.
See, Kevin's right, and I think I even told Kevin this about. I gave a little review of SmackDown's third hour. It was like when he would talk about wrestling, you would have a bunch of shit to talk about, and then when he would end it on something like that, nothing. Like what? Gino, I said so much. That was a lot.
Yes, and again, when I realized that I may have a legacy and I could, again, today would not be the perfect day since I'm still in a situation where I need to get a job and do this. So again, right now, it is not going to happen anytime soon.
Yes, sometime soon. The best way. That's the thing. If you get a job tomorrow, that's soon. You keep moving the goalpost. Like you're moving the goalpost further and further by not starting. Once you start it, you're in motion. I say this. Office humor, Gino. I'm so good at it. Every time we get to work, I say the hardest part's over. You made it here. Like that's the hardest part of the work.
TWFS says project your voice, you uncoacable piece of shit.
Yeah, don't be so uncoacable, Gino. Yell into that microphone. Let it know you want to be heard. And that's the other thing with life is you got to be willing to shout it out from the rooftops. I lost my voice earlier today. You don't know that. I'm still out here like I'm gonna cough up blood later like Machine Gun Kelly. But that's the thing, as I always make that reference at work. I always say the hardest part of the workday is just getting to work, getting up, ironing a fucking shirt, and getting dressed and getting to the office is way harder than actually doing the job. Doing the job is easy. Getting there is the tough part. Not like, you know what I would love to do tomorrow is just fucking hang out, play NHL 19 and do nothing, bro. It's going to be awesome. But I can't do that. I got to go to work. But once I'm there, I'm fucking at work. Let's have a good day. Let's make some memories. Let's leave a legacy, Gino. And this is Kevin says I need a heat press. That's a good call actually for like making the shirts. That would iron a shirt in like a second. How come nobody tells us these things, Gino?
Because people want you to live the life that they used to live and be in the same situation they were in, even if there's a easier and better and it's faster option.
Gino, we just created your first business. You should go on Shark Tank. Wouldn't that be so fun if you were on Shark Tank and you said like, okay, here's my idea, Sharks. I have this heat press and I iron my shirts with it and it's really fast and it does a good job. Wouldn't that be fun?
I don't know if that would sell though at the same time because people could just get a heat press.
Yeah, but not the Gino heat press. Come on, Gino, you got to sell it. How much do you have in sales? What's your plan? How are you going to take this globally? Where are you producing it? Come on.
See, that's the thing that I wouldn't have any idea right now where it would be because again, I could easily get a heat press itself and that would just be it. And anyone could do the same thing.
Because again.
Stop
Stop telling me because again. What is this? This is your word. Kevin used to beat me up if I said the same word over and over again. You are saying again a lot, you know. You're not you when you tell me something for the first time, you don't need to say and again.
Well, again, I was saying for the first time, I did say buying a heat press earlier that I said that you could do it. And I reiterated that you could just buy a single heat press.
Mm-hmm.
And it does the job.
Perfect, Gino. Any parting words? I think it's about time we ride off into that glorious sunset. I think we've touched every heart that's out there tonight. I think a lot of people are very, very touched by your motivational words tonight, by my motivational words. Any parting words for the audience tonight?
I would say, since our whole discussion was pretty much about Cowboy Bebop, that everyone here should try and watch the live action, watch it through, and then watch the anime and realize that they're both good in their own way.
They're both absolutely. And what about all the other stuff I said, Gino, about like getting up and getting a routine and sleep paralysis and taking control of your life and getting to work? Any of that stick?
It's gonna stick.
Yes, okay.
It doesn't stick right now, but as I prepare and lay my head down to rest, it's probably gonna stick in my head as I go to sleep.
That's amazing, Gino. I can't wait. You get to sleep, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We will see you tomorrow on the Whole Effing Show as the ominous third party.
Hell yeah, man. You have a good night, bro.
You as well. That is Sonic_Gino. There's only one of them. God made one of those, and that's Gino right there, my friends. So it's about that time. I'm riding off into that glorious sunset. You guys are awesome. Look, I'll be back tomorrow, okay? You already know I will be, with Kevin Scampoli. I'm not going to be here on Thursday. We'll see when Tyler Spider returns. I might even be in his chair again on Monday. But just keep following me at Twitter for that, at Vleeties Pod on Instagram. And, of course, join the fucking Discord. If you're not in the Discord, how have you been my friend this long if you're not in the Discord? If you need motivational advice, message me as well. I feel like I said some good things tonight. I know that he didn't give me that love back, or at least it didn't seem like he absorbed any of that, but I hope he did. I know it seems like it's out of nowhere sometimes, but we really are trying to get something out of Gino. We don't want to see just somebody wasting life away. Life is so precious, and I know that I say that as a Christian, cisgendered white male with all the privilege in the world, but I take advantage of all that privilege, and everybody should. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. Respect each other. I'll see you guys tomorrow.